And we are live, WrestlePurists Worldwide, episode 75, hosted by myself, Ibu, Joe Hulbert. Special show tonight, early start time, WrestleMania 40 review. Cody Rhodes has finished the story, finally. The Rock was on 2 nights of WrestleMania. Bayley, Priest, Sami Zayn, new tag champs, a lot to talk about. We'll also touch on Stand and Deliver, if we got time. Supercard of Honor, Bryan Danielson versus Blue Panther, a few other things. Obviously, WrestleMania week's always busy. WWE Hall of Fame. AEW announced that they're going to be airing the the AEW All In backstage footage from the confrontation between CM Punk and Jack Perry. So we'll have to touch on that as well. But first things first, please like, subscribe, send any super chats with any questions, any takes, any of your reactions, anything or any predictions for tonight's Raw after Mania, anything like that. We'll get them read out. Turn on our post notifications. And I hope everyone's doing good and had a good weekend. Starting with my fellow co-hosts. Ibu, it finally happened. You don't have to run away and hide. I'm sure you're very, very happy to be heading in to the Raw after Mania with Cody Rhodes as your world champion.
Yeah, man. Closure, finality, salvation, joy. These are all things I experienced last night, and the right thing was done. Now, most logical people would just have expected it because any other result is maddening and almost impossibly foolish. But you just never know. And I'll be honest with you guys. All of my flinching came from the fact that WrestleMania 30 Night 2 was a traumatic fan experience. It was utterly baffling. My body went cold. I couldn't feel my legs for about 4 seconds. I sat there in shock and couldn't believe what happened. It just felt like a nightmare. And we fast forward a year later, and they somehow were able to keep Cody Rhodes hot this entire year. And they were also able to recapture the magic. And not only did they recapture the magic, Cody got the job done. So, of course, I'm really, really overjoyed about this. I'm really happy. I wanted to just hug a bunch of people yesterday. I couldn't even find it in my heart to really troll the Bloodline account people. Like I wanted to take a victory lap. I started to. And I was
wholesome victory lap.
I felt like J. Cole in the sense that it wasn't in my spirit. It wasn't in my spirit to do it. But I'm overjoyed. I could retire happy right now. Maybe I will. I just feel like I completed the video game. All that's next is for Jalen Brunson to take it home for the Knicks. But I am happy to be here on Worldwide, and we'll see where the wind takes me.
What a week, Joe Hulbert. And the right ending, I think it's fair to say.
I think so, mate. It was. It honestly feels like it's been a lifetime since we did Worldwide last week. Like yes. I can't.
Yeah.
So much has happened. I've done so many shows. I feel like hell. I cannot wait to put a bow on all of this once we're done here. But I'm excited to be here nonetheless. And ultimately was a triumphant night, right, last night. So very, very cool. I was, as everyone knows, watches this most likely. It wasn't something I was super invested in personally, but they got me with it. I got captured by the moment, as you should. That's the way wrestling should be. And I was very happy for my many friends who are living and dying on this one. So good times, brother.
Oh, a lot of people's fandom, especially for WWE, specifically the people who only watch WWE and stuff like that, a lot of their fandoms are just riding on the result of last night. So, yeah, they did the right thing. And new era has been the quote that has been drummed into our heads the past 48 hours, the past week or so, with this WrestleMania 40 XL, So, yeah, it's we've got Cody Rhodes, the face of the industry going forwards. And I think it's fair to say, regardless of how you feel about him, just looking at how over and how well over last night got, I don't think they've made a dramatically bad choice in any way, So, yeah, man, we're going to get into it. So, what we're going to do, we've started early because, of course, we've got a lot to talk about, two WrestleMania nights, of course. So, we're going to review WrestleMania Night 1, and we're going to review WrestleMania Night 2. and then we're gonna go to NXT Stand and Deliver. Then we'll go to ROH Supercard of Honor. Talk about Bryan versus Panther. We'll obviously be taking super chats between all of this. So get your questions, get your takes, all that good stuff coming. And yeah, man, special episode of WrestlePurists Worldwide. Happy days. And yeah, let's start with a few super chats before we get going. Before we get fully going on this. So, all right. Darren KG, $4.99. Appreciate you as always. Being at the shows, I think that was probably the most saying we're back 20 minutes after saying it's over Mania ever. Yeah, man. Roller coaster of emotions. It was a good show, though. You know, it's been a wild weekend. A lot of ups and downs, as the Super Chat says. Scott, $2.79. Appreciate it. That Roman entrance might be top 5 of all time. It was a special one, wasn't it, Joe?
It was. I don't want to steal Ibu's talking point because he texted me this, but like it was weirdly like moving. Like I rewatched it today with Papa Holbert, and I was watching the entrance. Like, why do I want to cry at this professional wrestling entrance? This is strange. I don't know. I think whatever you thought of it, man, like it's been so long, and every fan has like their own memory of that reign, and it was, like it was dramatic, it was epic, it was the perfect visual and soundtrack to that moment, right? It was very, very cool. Great entrance.
Yeah, it was a similar feeling kind of last year because obviously I know a lot of us expected Cody Rhodes to and Roman's reign at this point last year was still pretty much as great as it's been now. You know, it's not like he's added a whole bunch to it, but it's still just as special. You know,
it remained in stasis actually for a year. Just
yeah, exactly. Because the time behind it's been so long. You know, so it was like when he came out last year, it was like, wow, like this is really it. So it was just like it just had this like occasion to it, and it was the same thing last night as well. They captured it again, where it was just like this is really it. The past 3.5 years,
it just felt like it was the end of the world.
I have to say, there was a few weeks ago you had an extended speech about the importance of this match in the world of WWE, and I was thinking, I don't know, man. But I've got to admit, the video packages and the entrance did make this feel like one of the biggest wrestling matches ever. Like it, and that's a great example though of like the way they package things is huge, man. They don't make me do the work. They put it in front of me and say, look at this story. It was about an 8-minute video package, dude. Like it was, I mean, it was ridiculous, but it was awesome. It was an incredible experience. The whole thing has to be watched front to back, right? It was something else.
And it wasn't subtle or it's something you had to infer. It wasn't something you had to make a threat about yourself. It was very much the company going, brother, Roman Reigns. And here's the thing: this is why packaging, and it's also why a company establishing their narrative for the story is a good thing. They're telling you whether you actually believe this or not. Roman Reigns is the greatest and most dominant wrestler in the history of WWE. He has held this belt longer than any modern wrestler. He is unstoppable. And if he wins tonight against Cody, that was the last hope. This is Cody's last shot. He's the best chance we have of ending this misery. The fate of the universe is at stake, and he's facing the most daunting odds any wrestler has ever faced in Bloodline rules. And you felt every bit of that weight, just that pressure physically when he's coming out with that entrance. That entrance, man, I felt like I was disintegrating or something. Like I felt like if you approached me, like the aura of Roman Reigns was gonna like burn my flesh.
He was a special round. Of course, we'll get into it a lot more as we go on through the show. All right, Darian, $25. Appreciate you as always. Yeah, just a shout out, Darian. You know,
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Massively appreciate it. But drop a comment, man. Say anything. We'll do a shout out or something. I don't know. Whatever you need.
Absolutely.
I don't know whatever you need. I think it's $50 or something to get you a bit to sing. You know, but yeah, man, we haven't done that in a while. You know, that was very much an unpurish thing, though. You know, but yeah. Anyway, Dan Walker, £5, appreciate it as always. TK should sign Snoop Dogg to replace Siobhan. He should win Wrestling Observer Announcer of the Year. I had a good time with Snoop Dogg. His soundtrack to the Philadelphia Street Fight last night. Yeah, looking forward to talking about that.
He carried it.
Looking forward to talking about that one. Anjan, PN, $2, appreciate you as always. The Elite. They featured in the video package we was just talking about last night, which was cool, man, because obviously they are such a significant part of the story, So it's cool, it's cool to see them, and obviously the Elite AEW fans and just Cody fans in general kind of popping for that little detail. So Zaid, Natty199, appreciate you as always. Top 5 match ever for me. Pro wrestling can be magic. It was magic, especially the closing stretch, and it was just like chaotic, drama filled, So it doesn't surprise me, because it was such a significant night last night. So if someone said it wasn't my top 5 match ever, but like if someone says it to me, it makes all the sense in the world. If someone said it was their favorite match ever, it would make sense to me, So good night for a lot of people's fandoms, man.
I think in a lifetime, you care that much about a match result only a handful of times, the way I did for that one yesterday.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have people you root for when you watch any wrestling match, but when it comes to I'm talking live and die, like high stakes, I need this guy to win or it's gonna be really bad for me type of match. You experience that specifically very few times. So yeah, man. Game 7.
Vinny May, $4.99, appreciate you. Where do you guys go to learn more about the details of wrestling, sequencing, psychology, pacing, etc.?
You gotta just watch a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what to say, but
I didn't know we knew about the details of wrestling.
I'll say this, Vinny, and thank you for the $5 super chat.
Yes, absolutely.
There's no mountains that you have to find where that have secret scrolls hidden within the forest. I promise you, it's just a matter of really what it is, to be honest with you. It's just a matter of watching a lot of wrestling and trying to articulate the differences in what you're consuming and how you feel about what you're watching. And with that, I also want to just say, if that's not how you speak about wrestling or consume wrestling, you shouldn't force yourself to either.
Not at all. No.
In
fact, this is a good chance you'll enjoy it more if you don't. So, yeah.
Right. It's at least with me, I do it just to be able to articulate how I feel about the wrestling I watch. But at the end of the day, wrestling is really fucking stupid. And so if I enjoyed a stupid match, all I'm really doing is trying to articulate why I like the stupid match,
right.
Or why
you can always just go match ruled, right? You're always allowed to do that.
Absolutely. It's just an articulation thing for me.
Yeah, it's all about kind of just developing your own taste through watching a wide array of different things of different eras and stuff like that. But yeah, without doing kind of a cop-out answer, it's just watch as much of it as you can. If you want to learn, same as anything, you want to learn about something, watch it. You know what I mean? Watch what used to work in different eras. Then obviously you'll be able to see if you watch it play out in that time, why it may have worked. And
yes,
in terms of what you mentioned as regards to sequencing, psychology, pacing, and stuff like that, of course you can watch it and make for your own kind of takes. But if you are looking for someone who has kind of got a keen eye for details, then there is a few reviewers and stuff. There's one on the screen now. Joe Hulbert. He's very good at kind of.
Yeah.
He can't help it. He says he's retired. He'll write a review on a random Dolph Ziggler match from 2014. But Joe has a good eye for detail. I know I'm probably embarrassing him right now. There's handwork reviews. Joseph Montesillo, they talk about these things, and I know some of them have got hot takes or whatever. And I'm not saying that I agree with all their takes or even a lot of them. Yeah. But if you actually do read their reviews, they do highlight these things. Whether it's, like I said, pacing, psychology, sequencing, the things that you mentioned in the super chat. So, find reviewers that have an eye for detail and just watch as much of it as you can, is what I'd say.
I think, and I want to put a bow by just saying this though. Like the other thing is, because I know a lot of fans, what they'll do sometimes, they'll read the certain people's reviews of wrestling matches and start to kind of like absorb their way of consuming and talking about wrestling. And I don't necessarily think that's like, I don't think anybody should like try to just be somebody else, either. Like I don't think anyone should read Joe Hulbert and just try to cosplay Joe Hulbert, or try to cosplay me, or try to cosplay Joseph Monticello. I had a conversation with Kwame the other day where he basically was saying Ibu's worst contribution to wrestling Twitter was making everybody make posts like Ibu, and I was like, he's not completely wrong. And I'm a verbose piece of shit, but I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I will say I think it's cool that people will see that type of thing and be like, I want to post like that. But I do think over time, and I guess it's probably natural, but I think over time, just the more you read how other people talk about it, but also consume, I think you should be able to forge your own unique voice when it comes to discussing why you like what you like.
Yeah, and that's the important thing, is develop your own taste. And as Ibu said, don't kind of even if you do really enjoy certain writers, reviewers, tweeters, whatever it may be, is like try and develop your own taste, man. And the people with the weirdest taste that you can't predict are usually the people that kind of, have watched like the widest catalogs, But anyway, Anjan, $2, appreciate you. Weekly Vodka beat the Terra Mana last night. It did. It was stronger, Hush
Rock said on Raw last week.
Hush 199, appreciate it. I'm only happy Cody was able to keep up with Rome. Come on, man.
He's so mercurial, Roman Reigns, man. Because I think that when he's locked in, he is terrific. But like, but that level of dialed in Roman is a guy you see very occasionally. But when you see it, it's like, but he does feel like just the best, like one of the best in the world.
To be fair, bro, you see Roman himself occasionally at this point, so it's gonna happen, right? If you only wrestle 6 matches a year, like,
and
it makes it different for sure.
And you're telling Roman, like, for example, remember the Rumble 4-way? Like, he didn't give a shit about that. He's like, man, what the fuck is this? Like,
Andy 100 rupees, appreciate you. While Rock made for great weekly TV, the dynamic of Cody on the hero's journey versus the unbeatable heel champ Reigns was just so much more compelling.
I had fun with both in different ways, but ultimately, one dynamic led to a match that I was watching for fun and entertainment, and the other one I was watching like a sport to see like my guy win.
I also think The Rock did a lot for Cody's star power. A lot to be associated,
Yeah, of course. It's Dwayne, Mustafa Siddiqui, £10, appreciate you. Cody versus Roman 2 is very similar to Rock versus Austin WrestleMania 17. First 20 is just heated wrestling, then the running/angles happen. Cody versus Roman had the better in-ring and the better run-ins and the better match.
I think
a hot take.
I think they're comparable. I think they're comparable.
I like the comparison. Yeah, I think I'd be on the opposite side of the.
Which match?
I think I prefer Rock and Austin. I need to rewatch them. The run-ins definitely you can't compare, right? It's like just Vince being there compared to this. But yeah, they're both great matches.
Yeah, I think 40 had maybe the best Mania ending ever in my estimation. But I'll say this, Joe. When Roman stole when we started finisher stealing, I stood up and pumped my fists.
They're both, I do like the comparison. They're both great matches, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Songanda Chonkos 35 Zar. Night 1 was alright. Night 2 was great, and ending was magical. Shawn Michaels still won't let Braun go. I hope we get Rhodes versus Orton 1 hour Broadway.
Randy don't want that 1 hour Broadway.
I was so sad, Joe. We didn't get a Randy superplex.
He had to hit like 4 RKOs, bro. That was a lot for the big man's back. He had to do one on an announce table.
He went from a pop-up powerbomb, bro.
That was sweet,
he did his
dude.
thing. He did
that was sweet.
Anyway, Anjan, PN $2, appreciate you. Mark, Dragon, Sammy, Bailey, and Cody, sport of gods.
It's cooking.
Agreed.
Cooking.
Hush, $4.99, appreciate you. Just kidding. I'm happy for Cody. No more bloodline interferences. Well, don't know about that. We still got uses around, you know. Still got Solo around. No more bloodline interferences. Y'all think Austin saw the ramp on night one and called Triple H and told him to give him his check to take?
I was howling after the match. Just the fact that Austin was just kind of like, nah, I'm all right. You know?
He's very particular about some stuff, right? Like, you hear these stories. Like, I think he takes the idea of a confrontation with The Rock very seriously.
Yeah, it's like, all you gotta do is throw a stunner. Really, all you gotta do is just trade some punches, shoot him off the ropes, and do a stunner. But like, he's so reclusive in general. Number one, when it comes to appearing on wrestling TV, he doesn't like doing it. He always talks on the shows about like, remember me as I was. But like, I feel like he's hard on himself in the sense of like, I think he's almost like a bit ashamed of like just being old. And it's like,
I think
he's ashamed of it, and there's no shame in it. You know, the fans would have lost their minds. And equally funny is the fact that like they're like, all right, let's see if Mark wants to do it, and he's like, hell yeah, I'll do it. You know, he's like, what do I got to do? Joe Slam Rock? Let's do it. You know, like, he probably told Mark, I could do a bump. You know, I could do a little fight.
He worked NXT in the name of a Tuesday Night War, bro. That dude, he'd do worldwide if we had a working relationship with him.
Bro, every pay-per-view is like the one dead man show attached to it or some shit. Like, go home.
Caden Lee of the Performance Center 199. Sami Zayn finished his story. What a match that was.
He's gonna get his ass fucking kicked tonight. He's gonna get the shit kicked out of him tonight.
Anas the Sultan, $10, appreciate. Yeah, my excitement still feels tainted by the lawsuit. Stephanie was implicated. I don't know if Bruce was, but he most likely knew. It feels like a aesthetic change, not an actual change of culture, creative aside.
I think
obviously the lawsuit is a huge cloud hanging over WWE wrestling in general. Obviously more so WWE, but it's one of those things until we know the details and they're more out in the open. You know, Stephanie was implicated. It's like we don't, let these things kind of play out. You know,
what I wanted to kind of step in and say, because here's the thing, like I don't want to say misinformation does kind of spread, but what I do think is important to note is I forgot who it might have been Pollock. One of them took the names of the officers that were corporate officers, right, and pasted it back over the lawsuit to give context to what was their involvement in when they were being mentioned, right? And one of the things that I was like surprised to learn when I went back to go out of my way to read this was that Stephanie, like the officer that she was, her mention was one time in the lawsuit, specifically that she was sitting next to Grant in a meeting. And that's her only mention in the lawsuit. And I say all that to say that, look, obviously, if you want to like guess and infer, like I'm sure that like there's a decent chance that many of these top officials in WWE are culpable to some extent about this Janelle thing. But within the lawsuit itself, the sex trafficking lawsuit, that is, the extent of her involvement is literally just sitting next to Miss Grant. But I'll tell you this: look, anybody who is uncomfortable about consuming or proceeding with WWE because of this is totally entitled to feel that way.
Yeah, it's an extremely dark cloud, man. But as you said, like, as far as like the Janelle Grant thing, her implication in the suit was that she was sat next to Grant in a meeting or something like that, and then as it's introduced in the suit, it says something. It's definitely a corporate officer who's been aware of previous sexual misconduct. And I remember hearing, might have been Dave or someone talking about it before, and it was like, well, everyone's aware of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone's aware of previous sexual misconduct that Vince McMahon's been accused of, so it's hard to like get kind of into the specifics of it until, as I was saying earlier, more details and more stuff's out in the open. But you know what I mean? But obviously it's very important to know what we're talking about.
Keeping the audience informed, because Anas said, I don't know if Bruce was. So the thing with Bruce is he wasn't, but the reason why people kind of like grimace at Bruce Pritchard is because he's just so closely associated with Vince in general. And
Sounds Kevin Dunn.
right,
Sounds Kevin Dunn.
exactly. And Ronda recently basically said that like Bruce is an avatar for Vince in the sense that like Vince will get his ideas in on the show through Bruce if he needs to. And so it's almost one of those things where it's like that's why people are kind of iffy with him rather than like any accusation. But he's just so closely associated with Vince that like,
there's a lot of reasons to dislike Bruce Prichard.
A lot,
right? It's not, and it is a complicated thing. And I want to reiterate what you said of just. I think we speak for all of us in terms of it. If he is saying that is too much for you to enjoy the show, I completely understand it. I completely understand.
It's a dark cloud, bro.
Yeah.
So it's just one can't hold it against anyone for feeling a way about it or anything that WWE do, even if they do have like this, this lovely ending last night. Because that is the reality of it. It's in the background. Do you know what I mean? It's not being screamed about on screen and stuff like that. And they are trying to distance themselves from Vince McMahon and stuff like that. Apparently, he's a banned word in WWE now, according to a Thoughtful Select report. So it's like, they're trying on screen, but the reality of it is that is lurking, So, but Ibu mentioned John Pollock over at Post Wrestling. They're doing great coverage of this. They've interviewed Ann Callis, who's Janelle Grant's lawyer. They've done all kinds of great coverage. So that's kind of where my first go-to is for coverage of this lawsuit is. Anyway, Black Yakuza 94, $10. Appreciate you as always. You gotta love for how involved Rock was in the build to Mania. Cody, Roman, and even Seth were the stars last night. They all shine more than the legend, which is saying a lot given who was there. Seth Rollins, of course. Seth Rollins, of course, played like a significant role. Cody and Roman obviously goes without saying, and The Rock. We'll get to that a bit later. But,
just quickly, because it's I think relevant to that super chat. That's something the prior regime really struggled with. When the legends were in town, the modern guys felt like the least important thing in the world, right? This managed to really share that spotlight and ultimately made Cody the centerpiece as he should be. So that was very nicely done.
Yeah, man. Definitely a struggle that they had before. Definitely. One of the worst things about the company.
Really, yeah.
You know when it was striking that like they got better at that with this new regime is Raw 30 last year. Because on that show, first of all, the peak quarter was the trial of Sami Zayn, but like the Legends involvement, like DX, like the whole big joke of that thing was like we're old and lame, actually, like we're not cool, and then Imperium bitched them, and like when Imperium stepped to them, they were kind of like, well, we're not going to fight you guys, we're going to get our asses kicked, type of thing, and that's a simple and small thing, but Raw 25 they beat up the Good Brothers and Finn Balor and the FTR, so. Which would like what the hell? Like,
Joe was happy about it. I remember.
They all took their turns doing finishers on Dax and stuff, and they're like 60. It's ridiculous.
Ricky Starks, $4.99. We got no one to do the accent today. Ibu, thanks for being my +1 last night. Everyone loved you. Yes, Queen, but you forgot your blazer in my room again, silly.
I did not, Richard, but I saw the video of your reaction to Cody winning. Happy for you. Richard Starks was there in attendance with QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes.
There's a lot of people there. There's a picture of like everyone who was there for Cody sort of thing in the locker room. There's like fucking 30 people. I
got told that.
It's cool.
I'll be honest with you. I did sniffing around before the show to see if Cody was going to win because I was stressed out, and so I inquired by a lot of closely.
That's
I
so
inquired,
sad.
I inquired.
That's so sad.
I'll just be honest, I asked a lot of close associates of Cody Rhodes. I hit up Amanda Huber. I hit up all these people, and some of them did reply to me, Monty, and they claimed that Cody didn't outright tell. Well, the ones at least I heard, he did not outright tell any of them to finish. He just went, "Come to the show." And
I believe that because he's insane. Yeah, I believe it.
And it was almost implicitly understood, like, well, if you're inviting me, you're clearly winning, type of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Corey David, $2. Appreciate it. Obafemi had a top 4 match of the weekend. He's the future. Listen, brother. Preaching to the choir about Obafemi. I haven't ranked my best matches of the weekend. I've watched so much wrestling. I don't. Well, we've just sent in all our ratings and stuff, so we should be having the ratings tweeted out pretty soon. But I'm not sure what it is at the moment. I know everyone loved the main event of Mania Night too because come on. But Will Chisholm, $5, appreciate you. I love how the real question tagline was "Fuck Vince, this is Triple H's WWE now." Wow.
There was a lot of pissing on his grave throughout the entire week.
It's funny. I think the Fightful Select report. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, but it was just kind of like, like there's so many things that have happened over the past week that Vince would have hated. Like even if it's just phrases that us as fans wouldn't even like pick up on. It's not just the clear, blatant ones like calling it pro wrestling instead of sports entertainment. Like there's loads of like
advertisements,
loads of
It's what we've said a million times, but it's just more and more examples of how like
he was nuts.
Triple H's job is made easy by the fact that he literally just has to like avoid self-inflicted wounds. Like, don't say certain phrases. Like, let Michael Cole say wrestling. Everyone's like, hell yeah,
Yeah, it's like what the hell. It's insane. America the Beautiful was the main song for Mania because Vince hates the anthem, which is really just like funny. That song does suck, but yeah, he just hates the anthem, so they made it America Beautiful, and then they did God Bless America on night one, and I was like, oh shit. So, oh my god, real quick, did you guys see Heyman's speech at the Hall of Fame?
I sure did.
Yeah. We'll get to that if we've got time. But super chats are building up.
My God.
We've got to put the burners on people. And that's the Sultan, $2 appreciated. But Sami had 2 big wins during Ramadan, Intercontinental title and tag.
Sami Zayn's
a beast, man.
All time.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely. Hush 199 appreciate. EO is fucking incredible. True pay-per-view wrestler. Agreed. Frank 499 appreciate you. The manor has run dry. We eagerly await the next Twitter promo and / or hilarious Sports Illustrated article where he lies about talking to God. Beast.
Joe, do you remember when people...
What a press run.
Yeah.
What a press run.
Especially considering he didn't like bump that much. Just man. But Joe, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh. No, I don't remember what I was going to say. Wow, I just blanked out in midair.
Well,
you'll 2 hours, you'll get it.
You know what I mean? One botch, it's a long match, brother. You'll be all right.
Holy shit.
Push 199, appreciate you. No lie, I thought Mox got out of his contract, bro. I'm saying that take a lot, and it's possibly huge thinking of people thinking like Rollins and Mox are going to ascend from the sky or some shit,
But what if they did?
Wait, I'm not going to sit here and pretend it didn't pass across through my mind. It was the Shield thing caught me off guard because I was expecting Austin's music at that point. But
when I heard Sierra Hotel India, I was
kind of like, yeah,
really? Okay.
Kurt Angle.
It all made sense at the end. It all made sense. Songanda, 34 again, appreciate it. Alvarez mentioned Trick on Raw tonight. How do you think he fares on main roster? Any other call-ups or surprises you'd like to see on Raw tonight?
I think it's a year too early. I think that they have a bunch of guys that are like active projects that they kind of have to get going anyway. And of course, Trick has star upside and star potential, and he'll be over. But it just feels like a creative headache for a guy who could literally just use another year of refining because he's not there all the way as a wrestler. I would have given him a top guy run in NXT for a period of time before doing this. It's premature in my view.
I mean, I think that's a fair take. I do actually think he'll be pretty fine, though, depending on... My thought is, I was speaking to people about this earlier, is like obviously I can understand that it's a headache throwing him into the mix because he's someone that you have to book a certain way. You're not just going to throw him out there for 10-minute matches, like, you know what I mean?
Pros that are already on your roster.
Yeah, you need promo time. You got to get the character over, and obviously with them bringing him up now, if that is going to be the case tonight, and he's going to be like a constant fixture on like Raw or SmackDown, then my thinking is they've clearly got a plan to push it forward and bring him up this early. They obviously have a lot of faith in his star potential. So do I, to be honest, when it comes to star potential. And I think also I mentioned this to you earlier that when he got that huge pop on SmackDown, I think that might have slightly taken them by surprise. And they thought, you know what? How over he is, may actually just translate pretty quickly to main roster. And if that is the case, I do think he will be pretty fine, to be honest.
For sure. It just strikes me
people love him, man. People love him.
More undisciplined than the Triple H regime usually is, because they're usually super conservative and take their time about like a lot of things, you know. And so, and this feels like they saw that trick pop and were like fell in love, which I get. They feel like they're like, holy fuck, all right, let's do this with him. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. He'll be fine. I just don't think it's necessary at this point in time.
Kale, 20 peso. Undesirable to undeniable to undisputed. Factual. Vernacular. 199. Take it in Austin's spot for a free meal. Pop me. Pop does free, bro. Anjan, $2. Appreciate it. That scene of Rock face to face. Hashtag thrice in a lifetime. Hashtag run it back.
Joe, you made mention, I think, somewhere that like Taker pulling up was really funny. Could you imagine how much funnier it would have been if we heard "You're Gonna Pay"?
Brother, I wouldn't be here. I'd still be recovering from my party last night if that happened. If that theme played in a stadium in 2024, oh, brother.
You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay.
Lobo MBS 199. Appreciate it. Samantha Irvin was incredible last night.
She's a nice lady.
David Wayman 499. Appreciate it. That closing 5-minute stretch was absolutely euphoric in the crowd. I thought I was going to die when the gong went off. Bro, it was longer than 5 minutes as well. Like I know, like the clip, there was the 5-minute clip that went like viral on Twitter and stuff. But it was more like 8-9 minutes, you know. Because if you're counting from when Jimmy comes in and Solo, then that's when you see like the 5-minute clip that ends with Taker, and then after that is when they reach for the chair. Roman grabs the chair, looks at Seth, you know. So it's like a good 9 minutes or something. That crazy, chaotic, dramatic field stretches. But yeah, amazing stuff. I've seen footage, €15. Appreciate it. That main event had me pacing around my room, making insane noises. Phenomenal stuff. Looking forward to the pod. Appreciate you, brother. Don. Joe, try this one for me.
Don Samo.
199. Run Big Dog Run Big Dog Rome versus Big Dog.
That match would be killer. That would be great.
I'll tell you what. You know what would be interesting? What would be interesting, Montel, is if Roman gets knocked off the pedestal because of Jacob Fatu, right? But what if, like, before realizing what he truly needs to do to kind of reclaim his throne, what if he tries to go at it alone, right? And he just fails. He's always relied on the bloodline to help him win matches, right?
That'd be good. Yeah.
What if like a king of what if just Walter beat him clean in a King of the Ring final?
Then he has to go to Jay and try and
exactly
make amends. Yeah.
You do the big WWE ass thing where he finally has to face to face with him backstage, and he's kind of like, "Can we talk?" or whatever, and you do the big dramatic segment, and they come together as baby faces. A lot you could do there, you know.
Hush 499, appreciate you again. What do y'all think the WWE execs thought of Speed when they were showed highlights of him? That was a genuine surprise and popped me big at Randy Barking and hitting an RKO was fucking...
Brother, so I had so months ago I did not know who this child was, right? And when I was babysitting my nephews...
He's not a child, is he? He's like 19 now, isn't he?
He's like 18. But so he... my nephew's watching this kid on like TikTok or Twitch or whatever the hell this kid is on, and it's just a shirtless boy just barking. And I was like, "What are you watching? What is this?" He goes, "That's like Show Speed." What is this? And since then, I've become cultured as to what this entity is, and I was laughing hysterically. I'm like, "Oh, it's KSI," and then it was Speed. I was like, "What the fuck? It's Speed!" And that was some straight the preposterousness of Randy Orton giving Speed and RKO while he's dressed as a
That's WrestleMania, brother.
That's peak.
That's WrestleMania. Colt $10. There was a lot of people in the WrestlePurists mention saying, "Who is that?" Which fair, but he's exploded over the past like 2 years or so. So anyway, Colt $10. Appreciate it. Shout out to you guys in this community. Thank you. It's awesome to have a group like this in the cesspool of the internet wrestling community. Last night was special. More importantly, Ibu, I'm sorry. Big gunts coming for that strap.
Gunther is dangerous right now. I gotta say, it feels like he's gonna kill somebody. I'm not sure who, to be honest with you. For all we know, Joe, could you imagine if you won the belt off Damian Priest tonight?
Anything could happen with that Priest belt, bro. You can do something really crazy with that, honestly.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And I gotta say, I mean, if we're shooting here, Drew winning it off Gunther in Scotland would be cooler than him winning it off Priest in Scotland. But it does feel like anything could happen. And it also feels like Gunther is gonna. It feels like he's gonna move on to something big.
Yeah.
SMG $5. Bruce Pritchard and Triple H at the end. This will age well.
Could age really bad.
It could. Andrew the Giant £5. Appreciate you. When can we start talking about Cross, Bob Lash, Bubba Ray, and Snoop? We're getting there, brother. We've still got a minute to go. Dame 499. Appreciate you. I'm happy for Bailey, but I feel EO needed that win more. They could have run it back at SummerSlam with Bailey. I hope they got something for EO. I'm sure they have got something for EO. I don't think
they had to give Bailey that win, man. They had to give her that.
EO, I don't think EO needed the win anyway. She's been champ for
Bailey had to win, I think.
It's not like EO's gonna just now fade into obscurity. EO's pretty established now. She's not Bailey. Obviously, she's not a horsewoman or anything like that. But she's pretty established as far as some of the newer women on the main roster are. In the past few years. So.
There was a lot of. I think they're gonna move her to Raw because they did a couple Rhea Ripley EO stare downs in February when they came across each other, and Rhea made some type of offhanded comment of you don't want to be on this show with me or something like that, just get out of here type of a thing, and that could be a really fun match.
Which one? I appreciate how insane would Cody be if he invited everyone and lost. Well,
he's insane, dude. That wouldn't surprise me at all. He's fucking nuts.
I was gonna say. How about Cena's hair? 10-10, to be honest. Everything about Cena last night was borderline or clearly hilarious.
He was slicking it back like he was a 60-year-old bowler.
So bad. His look is so bad.
Bruh, 499, appreciate you. Just so everyone knows, Bloodline Rules is a normal match for half an hour, then non-stop interference.
Hell yeah.
Hilariously, what's funny as well? The Bloodline are now 0-2 in Bloodline Rules, so it's
they may have to make a new Bloodline rule.
Home court ain't everything, brother. Home court ain't everything.
Dwayne needs to go back to the drawing board on that one, I think.
The Bloodline are better on the road, Joe. They went on the road for Scotland when Drew was in hometown, and they took care of that. They took care of Sammy in Montreal. They're a good road
team. It does rule that the big solution to the Bloodline was maybe if the babyface has friends, it may work. That was the secret sauce.
One bro again, 499, appreciate you again. One realistic prediction, one Galaxy Brain, one for Raw tonight from each of y'all. So, anyone want to go first? Go on, Joe.
Paul Ellering kicks Karrion Kross out of the Final Testament and hits him with a pole driver.
What a job! What a gig he has, Joe.
Tell me, he doesn't do anything. He just walks out.
Really?
Come on, Ibu. What's a prediction?
Chad beats the dog shit out of Sami Zayn. Is my realistic one. My Galaxy Brain one. One of the stables is gonna kick somebody out. I don't know which one.
Do you think Cody might do the start of New Year? I'm going to defend the belt tonight thing.
That'd be really cool.
It feels like
that was going to be more realistic.
Oh shit! My bad. There you go.
My Galaxy Brain prediction would be. I don't
Arn
know,
Anderson.
man.
Do you
I've no idea. I've got
It's
nothing.
hard, isn't it? It's hard.
Do you think
Awesome Truth dropped the belt to.
What about Imperium?
That's not really Galaxy, Brian. I
Mm.
don't know, man. You've stumped
What about
me.
Sheamus? Is Sheamus in play?
Oh, maybe.
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine Sheamus, Cody?
That could be. I mean, look at the heels, bro. That could be useful right now. If we're being honest.
Oh man.
And that's the sort of $5 appreciate the clarification about the lawsuit. I've grown way too cynical for a 21-year-old. Listen, it's a messy business, brother.
I'll be a wrestling fan. Yeah.
I'll tell you. Maybe this isn't good advice. I would rather operate in cynicism of businesses and billionaires than be naive.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. But like I was saying, I've said this a few times over the past few months, it's like we're not really the place to go to be like super caught up on the details and the deep diving into it and stuff. But again, Post Wrestling, WrestleNomics, Brandon First and John Pollock, John Poller. They do a great job. They do a genuinely great job. So just look up what they've been doing on YouTube and on their site. So Hamza Mohammed 199, appreciate it. Who do you guys think Cody feuds with first?
Great question. Hopefully it's not Karrion Kross.
The ones that actually fear is Solo. Legitimately.
You think so?
Where did Karrion Kross come from?
I don't
He's
know.
on SmackDown.
Cody might be on SmackDown now, though, right?
He's gonna do 2 shows until the
No, but not tonight.
I think there is room to be concerned that Solo is what they're doing in France.
You think so?
Because they in that crowd in France that they can pull it off. It wouldn't be like a disaster. I just don't think it's interesting. I don't know who the heels are, dude. Like, you know the roster better than I do. I don't know the options. AJ lost to LA, which is fine, and I think it was the right call. But there's not many heels, right?
Right. If AJ won, that would have put him in a decent position to, win a contender thing or something.
Darian, $5, appreciate you again. How much say does Shawn Michaels have in who gets a call up and who doesn't?
Triple H picks who gets called up, and Shawn has been getting incredible leeway with holding on to his toy really, really tight while Paul is pulling at it. Is kind of what's
seems like it does seem like a collaborative effort, whereas before Vince would just snatch him off Triple H if he wanted it. So
what's collaborative about it is Hunter will say, "I want this guy," and he'll say, "Can I finish up with him?" And he'll be like, "You can do that while I'm using this guy." And they'll advertise NXT, and they'll keep it coherent, you know what I mean, story wise and that kind of thing.
Corey David, $5, appreciate it. If WWE trying to collab with other promotions, is an AEW WWE still out of the question? Yes. With Becky and Seth losing, are they AEW bound? No. Andrew the Giant, £5, appreciate it. I was sitting in my house 45 minutes from where Drew is from, wearing a Drew t-shirt, popping at the Priest cash-in. Pro wrestling is back. It was an
That's
awesome
the game
moment,
right there. Yeah, that's the game, brother.
David Wayman, $1.99, appreciate it. What percentage of Bloodline's Wolfpack tonight?
Bro, I think it's very, very. If not tonight, Friday, I think there's some business in play with the Bloodline, brother.
It's coming. I gotta say, Joe, this is nasty. So number one, all the disdain in my heart left my body when Roman did the job. I gotta be honest with you.
I was trying to tell you, bro.
It just left my body, and I gotta say, now that like a title's not involved, I'm like weirdly into Bloodline lore. Like I've been making fantasy booking posts and shit. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm going like, what if Solo then goes with Jacob and then and then this Fatu and that? Yeah.
So Jizzle, $1.99. Is Cody a kayfabe better wrestler than Roman today? Yes. Akiva, $5, appreciate it. When all the faces were in the ring at the end, I thought Rock would come out onto the stage with an army of Samoans and we'd get a crazy brawl. A part of me did think because the camera quickly went to Rock like fucking pissed after the match, and I thought he was gonna do like a dusty finish or some shit. Then I thought maybe Steve will come out then, but yeah, it was almost like surreal, like. And that's the Sultan $2. I think I hallucinated the Young Bucks graphic, to be honest. Yeah, it was I just posted the graphic of the announcement of the footage that they're gonna view. no context, nothing with it, and it just, there was a few people asking, "Is this real?" Because it was posted
Crazy
late at
DM
night
night.
as well.
Yeah, crazy DM night, brother.
Yeah. Jake Brand 499 appreciated. New era branding got me thinking. Has anyone referred to PG era as attitude adjustment era? Anyway, last super chat for now. Colt $2 appreciated. They could do Cody versus Solo, like Cena versus Umaga Rumble 07.
It will not be as good as that match.
Yeah,
You're gonna need a real good blade for that one, brother.
Solo's not Umaga either. Like Umaga was an
We've talked
animal.
about it before. It's not even just like a raw talent thing, which that's there also. But Umaga debuted so much earlier as a wrestler than people realize, because they just think of him as the character Umaga, right? It's like he was deep in his career by that point, man. It's very, very different.
What do you think? How would you feel if they burned Jacob Fatu off as a first month Cody? And
I think you should save that. Build to that.
The other options you can do potentially, like he could be the guy that like fucks up Roman, like,
yeah, I'd save that one. That would be
fine. Cody's so over, you can just build a heel up and beat them in France. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
absolutely. There is heels and there's people that you can flip. It's just when you haven't got the roster in front of you, it's like it's tough, because it is very much a babyface heavy promotion at the moment, which is a good thing, but obviously the babyfaces need people to compete with and rival against. So anyway, WrestleMania 40 review. We've got 2 hours before Raw starts, well, just under 2 hours. So we definitely I think we've got a nice amount of time here to do these reviews and recap the weekend, talk about this that AEW Collision announcement for Dynamite this Wednesday about the all-in footage. We've got a lot of time. So without further ado, night 1, 72,000 people in attendance as announced by who did the announcement on the Saturday? Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis.
Yes.
Really?
But yeah, man, Philadelphia. It was a cold night, as we kept getting told.
Feels like, that's the whole thing for the night,
right? I don't know if you know this, Monty. Isra was at the show, and I asked her, and she was like, because I was like, they said it was 52, and she was like, it felt like it was fucking 35, so, because of the wind.
Yeah, it did. It may have affected though, because the crowd was cold, figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it was definitely a weird atmosphere coming from the crowd, and excuse me. But yeah, it does seem to make sense that it was quite brutal just standing out in the cold, But anyway, without further ado, WWE Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch got a really cool kind of like video package before her entrance. She's one of the greats, man. I'm one of the very much one of Becky's, I don't want to say biggest fans, but she's very much someone that I think deserves to be in like those all-time conversations, especially as far as like US women go. When you talk outside of the US, obviously it's a much broader conversation, but Becky Lynch is a special one. Rhea Ripley, live performance from the band that performs her entrance song. She said in the press conference as well, like that meant a lot to her and stuff, and she really loved and enjoyed that. Live performance was, it's not my kind of music anyway, but like, still, do you know what I mean? Like, even still, like, you try and put that to one side, it was still kind of just like, all right, bro. Like,
that was.
But Rhea loved it, and that's what ultimately matters.
That was interesting to just get hit with that energy to start the show. I'm chilling, I'm settling in, and then like this person with a black neck. Just like he's like looking at the screen, and he's like, "I eat, sleep, breathe the demons in you."
It was a lot, bro.
I was like, "Oh, just calm down, bro."
The face paint as well. It was.
Is that? He looked like. I don't want to be mean, man.
Did you just think he was ill or something?
He looked like an alien, bro. I was like, "What the heck?"
And then Rhea liked it, and
it was cool. It was definitely cool. I think white people should once again move to re-embrace this type of music in the mainstream. We
don't look at me.
I don't know why. It felt like we were all staring at Joe, and Joe's like, "Whoa!"
I ain't nothing to do with that shit, dude.
When you're gonna lead the movement.
I was gonna say, if you're waiting for me, I ain't gonna be helping on that front. But anyway,
rapper.
Anyway, Rhea Ripley successfully defends against Becky Lynch. It was a surprise to some people. It was very much split in terms of predictions. You know, this was one of the matches that was definitely split. But yeah, I thought they had a good match. I didn't think it reached the heights I may have been excited for, but nonetheless, they still had a good match. There was some good bombs in this as well. And ultimately, Rhea Ripley was too high of a mountain for the man Becky Lynch to climb. Joe Hulbert, what did you make of it?
I liked it a lot. It was immediately clear, and I don't want to talk about the crowd too much, but it was this early in the show where you kind of went, oh, this crowd may not be electric tonight, right? Like, there wasn't a lot of heat at the bell.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought they did a really good job of sticking with their match. Becky, such a smart wrestler, kind of leaned just enough heel to unlock the fans that wanted to cheer Rhea, because there was a lot of them there that wanted to cheer Rhea. And also, Rhea's the more explosive wrestler. She has better offense for a stadium. So what did Becky do? She gave Rhea most of the match, right? Rhea kicked ass for a lot of this match. I think the match benefited from that. Becky plugged her stuff in, gave it kind of some structure and psychology. So really good match. I agree with you, not like a classic by any means. Both women have had better matches on the WrestleMania stage. But a very good start to night one nonetheless. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's like I liked it quite a lot, but again, it's like I think the ceiling that these two could have potentially had in a hot stadium is like levels above this. You know? Ibu, what did you make of it?
Yeah. Their ceiling is comparable to, I think, Charlotte and Rhea, and I think because it was not that, and it was not Becky versus Bianca, this kind of like slipped through the cracks when it came to conversation about Mania weekend. But even with that said, I did think this was very good. I thought this was like borderline great, to be honest with you. I thought it was a really strong opener, and I say it every time with Becky. Like it's never the execution with her, because that's honestly pretty loose, but she just has a really good knack for structure and putting like big matches together. And she's a hell of a stadium worker. Because I just think what her key quirks just really translate and project well. So I thought this was a very good opener, and I don't hate the choice for Rhea Ripley to retain either.
Right.
I think we may have to strap in. I honestly think now I'm committed myself in my brain to the idea of doing Rhea versus Bianca next year, streak versus title. So I think the challenge now for the company is to reshuffle the deck when it comes to her opponents to be able to make that work. But if they can do it, I would like to see Becky or Bianca.
The thing is Rhea. The criticism is that Rhea's reign has felt like it hasn't really existed at times.
Yes,
that could be beneficial if you want to do another year of it, because it's like feels like she's just it feels like she's hardly actually done anything as champion. So
right.
That's criticism. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is it could bode well for doing another year if that's what they're going to do. So it'll be interesting.
It has legs because that first year was more about just getting her over. And they succeeded in doing that while just presenting her as a star on the TV and doing the squashes. This year could be, okay, now she's over. Now this is match catalog Rhea.
Agree.
Yeah, agree. And a few victory laps, as predicted. Rhea Ripley retains here. I'm gonna have to point out when I got them right, because I was off horrendously on some of these, But anyway, next up is the Raw Tag Team and SmackDown Tag Team 6-pack ladder match cluster fuck thing. Why the tag title 6-pack ladder match? I think it was. Anyway, it was Austin Theory and Grayson Waller versus the Awesome Truth versus the Judgment Day, Priest and Balor. Versus Johnny Gargano and Ciampa, Tommaso Ciampa, the New Day, and the new Catch Republic. And in the end, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory pulled down the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Awesome Truth pulled down the Raw Tag Team titles. And yeah, man, I was worried that this could have been just horrendous, because 12 people, ladders, bodies flying all over the place. Like, I was kind of worried about the safety of some of these guys going into this, but nonetheless, they got through it. There were some cool spots. That Gargano DDT
That was
to
sick.
Pete, that was a really good spot. Probably my favorite spot of that match. But yeah, man, it was. I don't love these matches. Even knows this very much so. As I was live messaging him throughout this, I don't love these types of matches. But for what it was, a ladder match on Mania, car crashes, table bumps, stuff like that. Cool ladder spots, whatnot. In the end, Awesome Truth got their moment. Crowd really got over with it. We got a heel tag team champs on SmackDown, which kind of surprised me. I think it surprised a few people seeing them pull down the tag belts. But yeah. What did you make it, Bill?
I thought this ended up working because here's the thing. I think ladder matches are passe. I think they're obsolete. I can't remember the last wrestling show where a ladder match was the match of the night, the prevailing thing that everybody talked about. Like, might have to go back 20 years. But with that said, I thought that this matchup was the company trying to have their cake and eating it too, and then somehow succeeding in that, because Hunter clearly just wanted to feature a lot of teams that he liked and do some cheap thrills, but he also was able to give this match like a core idea. So it wasn't just like a stunt show. Like they basically are doing they did this thing where it was almost like they got some of the stunts, and then after that they focused on the Awesome Truth. And I'll tell you what, I'll admit and concede this, that's who the people wanted in general. Like, that's just who they liked, that's who they wanted. And we got some cool stunts, and we got to then focus on the Awesome Truth aspects of this, the heart of the matter. And the fans were bang into it. I feel like a Brit, but they were bang into it. And R-Truth did his whole little shtick of tagging in, and they popped for it, the John Cena offense, so on and so forth. And they were the clear main characters and baby faces of this thing. And because of that, they worked towards building spots around almost like a tag match where they would pop in to do their thing to kind of come back, and it made the match work from that standpoint, with everybody else filling in to do the cool wrestling parts. And so, in a weird way, as I'm watching this, I'm like, now that I see this, they could have done a 4-way showcase on the side and a 2v2, but they combined it in and put the ladders in, and I did think it worked, even though it wasn't like obviously like a great match. I haven't seen a great ladder match in a long time, but I thought this worked.
It worked for you, Joe?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, within reason, right? It's not something I'm going to be rewatching anytime soon, but I had fun with it. And like, I do think the R-Truth part of it gave the match some personality rather than just guys destroying themselves in the name of WrestleMania moments. I think that was the highlight, honestly. So yeah, I had fun with it. Like, these matches are never my favorite either, but there were some scary moments, man. That ladder at the end was like,
bro,
that was
the
terrifying.
ladder had already been used for like other spots and stuff, like people
Yeah.
coming off it or whatnot, and
Ending. It was crazy.
yeah, bro, that should not have been used. But Damian Priest grabbed it, went to use it, and Jessica Carr, is that her name?
Mhm.
She was almost like in the ring, like, yo, don't use that ladder. I think you can even hear it if you listen closely on the broadcast, like she's like, other ladder or something like that. And Priest did not want to hear it.
Well,
bro.
it led to a moment at one point where he intended to do his finish to The Miz off the top of the ladder, and The Miz said, "Fuck you." We are not doing that. We are not doing that while this ladder bends under my feet, brother. I'm gonna fall, but I ain't falling with a south of heaven. Absolutely not.
That would have been a torn ACL, like 100%.
Yeah. The Miz's bump for that was pretty much him audibly saying, "I have kids." Like, dude, I've been on WrestleMania before, bro. I ain't doing it.
Bro, I was looking at that bent leg.
It was crazy.
Horror. I was like, can a ref get up there and hold this thing? Like, I don't care how phony it looks. Someone please hold this ladder. What? Like, because they're like, it's shaking, and the Priest is insisting on doing the spot. I'm like, motherfucker, get another ladder.
Yeah, it was it worked. Scary moment at the end, as we was just mentioning, but yeah, we got heel tag champs on SmackDown. I don't think their reign should or will last too long.
I
Probably
will
just need. Go on, Bill.
two things. I'm sorry. One, I will say, so I'm not a fan of Waller or Theory as singles wrestlers. They don't do that much for me as singles wrestlers, but I got to be honest. They're a very solid television tag team, to be honest with you. And they're good. They're a good team to throw out against pretty much every babyface team that they face. So I was all right with that choice. The other thing was, I will say, and I don't, I'm nicer to these guys than the rest of my panel. I got love for Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. But coming out as DX was...
Oh, yeah.
I ain't saying shit, bro. I mean, it is what it is,
Like I said, I kind of forgot. My bad. As the host of the review, but
it's like come on.
It's part of the recipe at this point, bro. Let's be real, I mean,
What
is
next?
what it is.
You got a pay-per-view tag title match, and you're like, I don't know, like where the who's the...
I tried to tell you, No, in serious, the DIY guys did have cool spots at least. At one point, I thought the only thing they were going to do was DX spots. I was very concerned. But they did have cool spots. Credit to them.
You're like, I'm Sean. You're like 36.
Anyway, moving on. Andrade's second WrestleMania match, his first one, obviously, of his most recent run, recently signed from AEW. Andrade and Rey Mysterio take on Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar, getting a win over them. And I thought, honestly, look, this match started off pretty decent, but by the end, it was just kind of, you can probably articulate it a bit better, Joe.
Yeah, I get what you mean. And I think this is another one where the lack of heat was kind of striking. And it got kind of messy, right? Because there's so many people at ringside. They wanted to do the Eagles thing. I forget the gentleman's names. I'm sorry, I'm British. But I still had fun with it. Dominic Mysterio is, honestly, is someone who just pops me tremendously every time I watch him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The way he was bumping for Andrade, that's pro wrestling, man. That's awesome.
You guys
bump for a chop, the back elbow. It was cool.
That was the greatest back elbow I've ever seen.
It was great. And Andrade, I like this match more than I really should have, purely because I thought Andrade looked good.
He did. He's well and truly not bad. Like when he first signed for AEW, there's a couple matches there where it was like he's still good, but he's not quite what I want him to be and what I've seen from him in the past. Whereas I think from Collision, from the start of Collision, he's been very, very good again. So good shit. And Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson. What's it? Lane Johnson? Is that his name?
I don't the other guy. I know Jason Kelsey. They're the two football players that came in, and they were so obviously football players by how big they were. But I want to say that freaking electric chair double cross body was so sweet. The one that him and Andrade.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I never seen it. That was so cool.
He killed Dom with that too, dude. Did you see the way Dom had to catch Andre? It's like a bus coming at him.
Joaquin got to do his little hot dog splat thing.
Which, by the way, a spot so impressive that Papa Holbert was citing it as of 4 hours ago. I was like, who was the fella who did that thing on the apron? I was like, what are you talking? Oh yeah, of course. That's what we're talking about. Joaquin Wilde. So WrestleMania moment, brother.
Yeah. This was
I like that. The only thing I didn't like about that is the fact that he screamed out WrestleMania moment, baby. And he fucking did it, and it was like, all
right. So now that's the dork thing so far on this night. If I was an asshole booker, I'd be taking mental note of who doesn't act like they've been there when they go to WrestleMania. You know what I mean? It's like certain people are cosplaying, certain people.
Look, man, it's Joaquin Wilde. I mean. You gotta let him enjoy himself, I think.
Joe, I know Michael Hayes is like, what a fucking mark. You know
what I mean? Anyway, oh god.
That ruined my day, Monty. I didn't know he said that. Why did you tell me that?
He really did too.
It's a WrestleMania moment, baby. Oh my god. Go fuck yourself.
It's not getting better. In the next match, it don't get any better, brother. So
oh no. Okay.
Lock in, folks. It's time. Uso versus Uso. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. And yeah, man. This is probably the most heavily criticized match on both nights of WrestleMania. This just was not. It just was not good. It never trended towards being good. That being said, I was saying before we went live, like the opening minute or so, they're kind of just having like a match, and I'm wondering like where will it start to heat up, and where will the set pieces be, the interferences and stuff like that. I was expecting like a little bit of like overbooked crap, like not quite full on, not quite full on Bloodline rules, because I know that they're saving it to make that the spectacle that it was last night. But I was still expecting like something in this, because this is one of my big L's that I took of Mania weekend. Bravely going against the masses and saying that Uso versus Uso would be a good time. I thought it was just going to be, super kicks, yeets.
You
Jimmy
super kicks, if that helps. You got
not the way we got them, but a few Uso splashes and interference from Solo maybe, and you know what I mean, and a bit of drama and overbooked shit at the end, and then Jay would have ultimately prevailed, or Jimmy would have somehow got a heated win, but that didn't happen at all.
I was awe at like their ideas for filling time, because like their idea for filling time was
staggering.
Their idea for filling time was to stare at each other and just kind of go, and Jay going, "What you got? Give me that shit. Give me that shit. Come on."
It was like they thought they were still in the Thunderdome. It was insane. They were
literally like circling each other, staring. And then it's like they literally just did not know what to do in these spaces. And it was just kind of like, and Jay just had to kind of ad-lib. He's like, "Come on. I know you hear them." Yeah.
But there was a lot of that. Like I said, after that first phase I mentioned, the first minute or so, where they're just kind of having a wrestling match. It's not particularly sharp or anything like that, but they're just kind of out there doing a thing. And then there's a lot of dialogue and nothing. And then they're trading super kicks, like the forearms, and doing.
Am I
weird? It was weird.
Lil Wayne was there. They played
Lil Wayne.
Of course he was. I forgot about that.
It started so promising, Lil Wayne live performance, ad-libbing. It's just you.
I thought he was gonna. Is that what he said? I didn't hear him. I thought he was gonna sing it. I thought he was gonna be like, "It's just me, Day one." I thought he was gonna do something like that, or yeah.
He came out. He did like a few bars from Amelia, and then when Jay's music hit, and he kind of like the kind of just vibes, and then when Jay Uso got to the ring, when he was ad-libbing like it's just him. Oops,
that was funny. Yeah, the people loved the entrance.
Right? Bro, it was like. At the starting bell, I was pretty confident on my take. I was like, Lil Wayne, you get me? Like Lil Wayne vibes, you know what I'm saying? Like this is gonna be the match that brings the crowd back. You get me? A few yeets, no.
This was real bad, bro.
Elaborate, Joe.
My big concern coming in was the time. And that wasn't an issue. They only went like 11 minutes, but it felt like a lot more than that. But this was a terrible match. But you mentioned there are different pieces of it. Because like Jay takes an opening shine that's okay. We've mentioned on this show, Jay's work, the more over he gets, the worse his work gets, which is, that's professional wrestling at its purest, unfortunately, folks. Poor Jim is, there's no work. There's no sharpness to anything he does. He did.
He got his t-shirt came off and everything.
Yep. So he took a shot, and then Jimmy came off and went into some heat, and I'm thinking, this isn't good. Because there's no reason for Jimmy to be leading a heat segment here in front of 70,000 people. But it wasn't, to me anyway, like appalling. It was just a sort of boring TV match, which is not what they were going for. You would assume. I would imagine that's not what they had in mind.
I got to be honest.
Well, sorry, but I got to get through this because it's just traumatic for me. They started trading punches, and the people were doing the yeet, no yeet, and I said, well, at least they're reacting. It's not good.
Yeah.
That somehow spun into that super kick duel that took place that is still going on. They're still throwing super kicks at each other. And this is where, to me, modern wrestling is fucking insane. You're 15 super kicks deep. They are not making any sound. At what point do you call an audible and say, yes, I am prepared that I was supposed to throw 17 super kicks. Can I stop now? At what point in the game, when you're yelling at each other, throwing super kicks, do you say, this isn't actually working? Or do you just proceed with the match as you had it planned? I mean, they kicked each other for genuinely, it felt like a lifetime. I don't know how long it was. It went on forever, and they were talking to each other like they were throwing forearms.
When you think it's the last one, it just wasn't.
and then Jimmy started doing this sort of stagger Thomas Hearns cell in the corner, like he was. And I mean, I just couldn't believe that was their big idea. So then, I'm sorry, folks. I promise I'm going to get to the end of it, but then Jimmy starts doing the thing about I'm sorry, Oos, right? And it's a dumb thing, but they're twins, and the people were willing to play ball. They said, we're going to react to this. We're going to try our best. Jim and Jay, we love you. We're going to try. And they started, doing don't go back to him, Jay, and all this. And I said, all right, maybe they can recover. Jimmy turns on Jay. And then the icing on the cake, just as I thought maybe they may just leave this for some dignity and grace, Jey Uso hits the worst spear in professional wrestling history.
Did you see Jimmy's Samoan drop at the beginning of the match?
That was very unfair. Again, I almost feel bad because poor Jim he's in tatters out there. God bless him. But he hits this terrible spear. They go home, and I just thought, good God. I mean, I love them dearly. I've had a great time watching them be tag team wrestlers, but I don't think that could have gone much worse if they possibly tried, unfortunately. It's a shame.
The thing about it is Jimmy's been the object of slander for a while, right? And somehow he was a part of one of the greatest matches in company history last year at WrestleMania. And it was like, good for Jim, But my goodness, I knew this wasn't going to be good based off the Rumble, Joe. Like when the Rumble started with the Yeet, no Yeet this year, I was like, oh, that match is going to suck, But that match is going to fucking stink.
When it sucked in ways that you couldn't even imagine, like
They're no ideas, man. It's brutal.
The super kick duel popped me. I was like, this is really funny. Maybe we can go in an irony direction here. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we literally just make this a Kobashi Sasaki chop battle thing, but with super kicks. Maybe that just works. But no, it was just. Here's my thing. All due respect to these guys, they've dreamed about having this match at Mania since they were kids. But how do you talk that extensively about that? And this is the match you have. Oh, man, let me tell you something, Oos. Man, me and my brother, we've been talking, Oos, about being at WrestleMania, like Oos, like for real, this is my dream. Like, oh my God, Oos, like this is really my passion. Me and Jimmy at WrestleMania. How you say that? And this is the match you have.
This is what they've been talking about for all these years.
Because I actually think that's a fair question. Like, do you just think they thought that super kick deal would like really be dramatic and would pack a punch? Like, because they went so long with it. Like, in their heads, that must have been this like really epic moment as the brothers traded super kicks. They had to have seen it that way. It went on forever.
The other thing is, like, for all, whether you like the Bloodline style or not, at least like for example, Bloodline Civil War, that was like a moment, and that was a successful match. Like Usos versus Roman and Solo. Like I respected, salute. They did their thing there. Usos versus freaking Kevin and Owens and Sami Zayn. That's some real shit. But like this brother versus what was anybody cooking? Who produced this? Do we have a producer list, Monty?
It was Jason Jordan. Oh, fuck.
Yes, that is correct. According to
Look, man.
In
like 5 months, they're gonna have a hug in the middle of the ring and be a team again, and it'll be all well and good. The crowd will love it. But it is what it is, brother. It wasn't meant to be.
I'll tell you this. Jason Jordan, Monty, is known as the guy that you put in there when you want to do your own match, and he has to be the producer that puts his signature on it. What I mean by that is he produces a lot of Chad Gable's matches, and he's very much a ghostwriter. Like Chad just kind of puts together his stuff. So if it said Jason Jordan, there's a very good chance that Jimmy and Jay were just like, this is what we're gonna do.
Yes.
Which is
that
insane.
is why I found that so funny. That's what
Yes.
Scraps, you know. Scraps.
God bless him, man. God bless him. Oh.
And with that, we'll move on. But get your takes on Oos versus Oos on the super chats. We'll go to the super chats in between shows. So, all right, next up, 6-woman tag team match: Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi. They had a really cool entrance, ascending down from this podium, the lights, you know. But they look great as well. Naomi had the light up hat. They all had hats, but Naomi's probably specifically. Damage Control, they all look great as well. Asuka, Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane. And yeah, man, I like this. I don't think with a time clocking in at 8 minutes, I don't think they were meant to have a classic or anything like that. It was just kind of came out there, let Jade Cargill look imposing and stuff like that. A few set pieces here and there. It wasn't all particularly the most smooth or anything like that. But for what it was pretty much delivered as I expected.
I thought it was
Joe.
Yeah, no, I agree. One of those ones where it's it did exactly what it needed to. I don't think it went beyond that, and I don't think they could have added another wrinkle or two.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, it was successful. They built to Jade's hot tag. She kicked ass. They went, she won. She went over. Some of the work early was alarming, but after the first minute or so, they settled in, and they I didn't mean that to sound as much an arsehole as I did, but we were recovering from the Usos match, folks. It was a little bit oh God, not more. The Kabuki Warriors were beating up Naomi, and I said, "Oh my God, what is happening tonight?" But they settled in. They had a fine match. The people liked it. It worked. It was fun.
You know what showed this would have fit in the undercard of Joe?
No show, mate. Yeah, sure.
Would have been WrestleMania 3 undercard match. I thought they looked awesome. I think there might be some viability in maintaining this big three group a little bit. I think they're really, really cool.
Bro, they were awesome at the press conference. I don't know if you managed to see it, but it was somewhat reminiscent of Cody and Jay. They were just kind of popping themselves, and it was just really cool to see. They're clearly very big fans of each other.
I think honestly, I'd be exploring Monty, just looking at finding any tall woman on the roster and just pairing them together as heels and just creating monsters to just throw at these women.
Raquel and Nia.
I'm telling you, bro, I was just start pairing every tall girl, bro. Raquel and Nia. Sign what's the girl from formerly that Camille? Just start throwing them at them. Conveyor belt style, bro. I'm telling you, monsters of the week.
Yeah, I like this. I think it did what it needed to, and hopefully we get to see more Jade going forward. Yeah, interesting to see where all things lead for all women involved in this. To be honest, obviously the Kabuki Warriors are the current tag champs. But yeah, anyway. Next up, contender for my match of the weekend, honestly, even with the tremendous Night 2 main event and how historical and stuff. But in terms of just straight spreadsheet, star ratings, bro, this is definitely a contender for my match of the weekend. Sami Zayn defeats Gunther after 660 days, 660 plus days as Intercontinental Champion. Very, very, very good match, yeah, and wouldn't expect anything less from Sami Zayn and Gunther, to be honest. Two just all-time great wrestlers, But yeah, I love the entrance as well with Sami Zayn, Chad Gable.
Yeah.
Chad Gable giving him a bit of a pep talk. You don't need me out there. Kevin Owens just before he walked through the curtain. As well. His wife and child, it was I was picking Gunther until I saw his wife and child and stuff. I
Then
saw
you
what they
know,
did backstage, and I was like, "This is just they can't not," you know.
Yep.
So yeah, I was wrong on that one, I guess. But sometimes you're happy to be wrong, you know. I love this match. Sami Zayn and Gunther, just two genuine all-timers. I don't throw that around loosely. I know it's only just me sitting in my room. I'm not exactly this almighty reviewer or anything, but again, I don't throw that term around a lot. And Sami Zayn and Gunther absolutely fit. And hilariously, as good as a match this was, I think they've got an even better match, you know?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I agree.
Terrifying.
Ibu, what did you make of this Sami Zayn winning the IC belt off Gunther?
I was standing immediately. I thought this was like great, like 4 minutes in, to be completely honest with you. Just the feel, just the energy, the chops, Sammy's facials, his stagger selling.
Good heat considering as well the rest of the night.
Oh, hell yeah. I think this crowd knew, like, this is going to be the wrestling match on this show, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, I was mind blown to find out that this was like 15 minutes. This was 15 minutes. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I thought this match was tremendous. Sami Zayn is sensational. Gunther is they're both one of the greatest wrestlers I've ever seen, to be honest with you. And they stand above most of this roster. And I expected Gunther to win and was leaning towards wanting him to win. But I got to say, I'm glad that they finally took the leap of faith and did not opt for safety with him. Because I do think that, like, he outgrew the IC belt a few months ago. But I think in their mind, it was one of those things where it's like, well, we have other things to do with other people, so he can keep this and continue to do this until it's time. But now that he's outside of that safety net, now it's almost a challenge to be dynamic with him booking wise. So I respect that. I respect the ballsy choice there. And man, that turnbuckle, he brought back the turnbuckle brainbuster Sami Zayn did with fucking El Generico style. You know when I knew this was going to be some real shit? He brought back the half and half suplexes, and he doesn't do those anymore. I don't know if you noticed that. He did the half and half suplexes, and I was like, wait, all right. Wait a minute now. You know, Sami Zayn is incredible. He also stripped back his like bag for like a maintainable like TV style that works for him. But on these big matches, he brings up stuff that you forgot he did. You know what I mean? Like, he'll do something you forgot he did. And you're like, oh shit, you know? So what a wrestler. I thought this was tremendous.
Hulbert, I'm guessing you thought something similar.
I did, mate. It was my match of the weekend. There is something interesting about stadium wrestling in that if you look historically, the cadence and length of a great stadium match is actually a very singular thing. There are many matches that are iconic WrestleMania matches in particular that in your head you may imagine them a certain length that are not nearly as long as your memory would suggest. You know, this will be on that list here soon. And the reason for that is, especially when a crowd like this is they're into it but they're not rocking, keeping things in close quarters and tight is really, really big because you're giving people react to it at every turn. You know, and Oracle mentioned this to me when we reviewed it on the Late Night Grin. Go back and rewatch the match, folks. Notice Sami is firing away whenever they're close. And it gives the people, it's feeding them throughout, right? It gives them something to react to gasp at, to ooh, to ah at. And if you watch every other match on this show, none of them did that. Like, that was a very, very smart thing to give this kind of a compact, physical, tight feel that made it kind of bring the people in. And that's why this had the best reaction, I think, of the night. Obviously, the main event gets there, but it took them a long time to get there in the match after this, right? This one kind of had the people throughout. And I think that speaks to how smart they are, how much they achieved in 15 minutes. And it's peak Sami and Gunther in that they took a very simple story and maximized it. That's what these guys do, right? They're not guys that in concept or structure are going to blow your mind. These are very simple matches. But it's the way they execute those matches that's so special. So two truly special wrestlers, two truly extraordinary wrestlers, and a match that I think will age like fine wine. I thought this was like a true, WrestleMania hit. This really felt like an IC title match of yesteryear. It was wonderful, which has been a theme with Gunther. Great match.
Yeah, as I was saying, definitely one of the highlights of the weekend. Tremendous stuff, and I think it kind of, to Joe's point, it's almost striking as well, especially when you rewatch to just see like when you have two all-timers out there that kind of can just grab the people. It's just different, and the crowd just felt different during that match throughout the whole of the match. Yeah, moving on. Main event. Bloodline, Roman Reigns and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And obviously this was Bloodline rules for night 2 on the line. And 45 minutes, man. 45 minutes. When I saw, I think it was Fight for Select or PW. Yeah, it was Fight for Select beforehand. Like, they had the match times because they must have had one of the run sheets or something. And it said like 45 minutes. And this popped me because I didn't think they were going to approach it with such like. Again, it's similar to like Jimmy and Jay. Obviously, this was nowhere near as bad, and I didn't even think this was bad. I actually liked the match to get that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I knew they were saving stuff for Bloodline rules, but I was expecting like a bit more, just like
aggression
chaos just chaos and just more things to happen, basically. But again, they're kind of just like having a match for like a huge chunk of this. And when I say a huge chunk, this was 45 minutes long, But as Joe mentioned a couple of minutes ago, they did get the people by the end. I did enjoy the closing stretch, and I did think it was the right ending. The Rock with the belt. The Rock in general was popping me huge. Like him on the apron at the start before he tagged in, he was fucking shitting himself.
Terrifying. Yeah. Terrifying.
But anyway, to kind of rewind a little bit, the Rock's entrance, bro, the final boss.
That was great. Yeah.
That was incredible. Again, referring to the Fight for Select report, I think they said something like, people in WWE can't wait for the Rock's entrance when the lights go down and it's dark. Obviously, seeing it in action, you could see why. It was such a great entrance. There's no one like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on the planet. Not in wrestling, not in Hollywood. Like, there's no one like him. There's bigger stars, there's better wrestlers, but there's no one that is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Truly, truly special character, figure, person. But yeah, what an entrance this was, and just seeing him in the ring again in the trunks, surreal. It was just. But yeah, he was shitting himself at the start, basically. You could see it on his face. He couldn't even hide it. As good as an actor you may think he is, he couldn't hide that one. But yeah, man, an interesting match from a review standpoint, Joe.
Very. Because I'm so overjoyed with night 2, I feel more comfortable being completely honest about this match, which is that as much as I wanted to, and as much as they had my attention going in, I did not like this match very much. So much so that it actively bummed me out how little I could get into it. The first 25 minutes of this match I could not believe it. Like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it's another example we talked about the Uso thing of like, dude, like, do you have to go through a 12 minutes of heat when the people are not making noise? Like, I mean, it's just, to me, it was baffling. And I get that the second half did a lot for people. I did enjoy the second half, but it wasn't enough for me personally to overcome the horror I felt as I watched the first half. Now, here's the positive is I actually thought The Rock looked good. I thought his physicality came off well.
Performance as well.
Yeah, I actually thought he looked good. It wasn't a performance thing as so much as it was, I just don't understand the choice to go 45 minutes. I'll never get it. I think if they go 20 minutes, this thing is like great. Yeah, it just didn't click for me. And like anyone who watched this show, like, I was so invested. It was the match I wanted to see most of the weekend, but it didn't work for me. Unfortunately, I'm thrilled that night 2 allowed me to kind of like erase that in a weird way, right? Like you feel much better about everything afterwards. But I spoke to both of you. I think more so after the match, and I was just like, man, I could not get into it. It bummed me out. So night 1 main event was not for me, unfortunately.
It was I just said, look, the first 24 minutes, bro, was it was like, what Like, hold on.
Right.
Like,
And I want to say quickly, we were at Bloodline Civil War, and people had similar criticisms. Firstly, this was like 12 minutes longer, which is an insane thing to even think about. But also,
and about 10% of the heat.
That's where, call me a crowd merchant, you'd be right. That's a difference to me. When
It's a
Roman
huge
was
difference.
in London, we were doing the stand up if you hate Roman. Well, he was doing it here. They were just sitting there, and it was a weird watch to me personally. But I saw there was a range of opinions on this, so it is what it is.
Especially with the bloodline matches where there's like a lot of walking and talking and stuff like that. Like, it's deliberate. Like, it's for the crowd to engage with. So if the crowd engagement isn't there, it's dead. And that's what a lot of this was. The storytelling wise, they did what they needed to do with this match. The Rock abusing his power, like he had some hilarious moments when he was screaming at the ref, like, it's like, the Rock don't fuck around, I'll fire you if you count.
It was the right finish too, right? Good finish.
With the belt, being not Cody being with the belt by the Rock on the outside, and that leading to the finish. Yeah, but like I said, storytelling wise, this definitely did what it needed to do, but 45 minutes was tough.
Not for me. I'll tell you what, I'm really glad. So I've always been weird about the previous main event Bloodline tags that like other people were kind of up and down. I like you guys, for example. You guys always loved the Bloodline Civil War, right? And I always respected it more than I like loved it. And I thought of it like as an achievement and that kind of thing, but it felt like they did the long Bloodline tag main event that they've been doing, like the Saudi one and then the London one, but with Cody plugged in. So like I care more because it's Cody in the match. And yeah, look, this was obnoxious, like in how long it was, like especially in retrospect and seeing how much the Cody Roman match clicked. I think they definitely could have like stripped this down to the best aspects of it in a 21-minute match, and it's a rocker, I think. But the reason why personally is just because at the beginning I just thought it was fascinating to just see like the crowd react to every like different interaction, and Philly was weird on this first night if you guys like think about it when it comes to this match, because they were really into The Rock. They were so into The Rock that they kind of like there was some faint boost for Cody. It was kind of weird in that respect. Cody Roman didn't feel like it felt kind of cold when they fought a little bit at the beginning. Like there wasn't edge. It just didn't feel like, oh my God, this is big time. And it was kind of scary. But as the match wore on, I thought that Cody and Roman's natural chemistry started to kind of come through and put this thing together. And then I got personally really into the big set pieces and explosions at the end. So between that and the crowd brawling stuff and just some of the character interactions, I was interested and entertained watching it. But I say that while recognizing that if you weren't as locked in on that, it might not work. Also, just it did test your patience. It definitely tested your patience, and it was pretty. Again, this is pretty obnoxious with how long. Like this did not need to go 45 minutes. I don't think there's any WWE match right now I'd want to watch for 45 minutes unless Gunther's in it, and even then it's pushing it. But with all of that said, to me, this still kind of scanned as just the same Bloodline tag that Roman had done twice last year, and one that I liked more than the previous two. So yeah, I had a good time with this personally. It's interesting. I checked Cage Match because like I liked it, but then my timeline hated this match. They thought this was like garbage, right? And so I was like, what do people think about this? Is it just my timeline? Is it this? I checked Cage Match and like it was at like a low 7, and so I was like, okay, all right. So
got mostly positive reviews. It did.
Yeah. I thought it ended well for sure, if nothing else, and I personally was into the match.
Montgomery, you're muted. It got positive reviews overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it served its purpose, man. It did what it needed to do. Like I said, I actually did like it. It just took so long to get to the point where I liked it, So, although it was interesting from that aspect, as Ibu was saying. So it was like intriguing at the start with all the different like first time people are touching and stuff like that, stare downs, blah blah blah. But yeah, man, that's WrestleMania Night 1. The Rock and Roman Reigns ended up victorious. Bloodline rules set for night 2. Roman and Rock raising their belts at the end of the night. The Rock coming out with the People's Championship that was gifted to him by Muhammad Ali's wife. Yeah, man. God bless. All right, quick super chat break, then we're going straight into night 2 review people. So last chance to get them in. We got a few, so I'm going to try and be speedy with them. Scott $2.79, appreciate it. Looked like Roman was smiling when he was pinned. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people clipping that up from night 2. Yeah, man, you might have been. It isn't like super blatant, so, but you know, it's something you can you can run with it if you want to believe it. You know, there's enough there. It's one of them. Secret Agent Randy Beans, $2, appreciate it. I could see them doing Big Reed versus Cody in France. Why would you say that? Push $1.99.
He's probably going after Sami, though. He's probably going after Sami.
Great.
I'll tell you what, Joe. Sammy's been having these TV matches with him that aren't too bad. They're not too bad. I get it. I know this is aggressive. This is
I said great, bro. I'm happy. Look at me. I'm happy.
Yeah, that's what you're over-explaining yourself here, brother. Push $1.99, appreciate it. Y'all think Mark Henry was too harsh on Corey? We spoke about this briefly before the show, and Joe hasn't actually seen the clip. He's just seen a few tweets about it, so it's like, you know, I'm not sure how much of it he'd be seeing. I saw like a 1-minute clip of like him going off about it, and what I would say about it is that like he has a point about like Kyrie staying in the ring, you know, and not getting the fuck out of there. Like, it is a WrestleMania entrance. You give your opponent the ring, you know, as they're making their entrance, sort of thing. But on the other hand, it's not that deep. Like, he got really mad about it from the looks of things, and from the clip I saw of him at that live podcast, he got like really worked up and mad about it. And it's like, even if his point was right, he kind of like fucked himself when he started getting angry and saying things like, "Oh, if I was a girl, that wouldn't happen." You know what I mean? If I was a girl and I was there, I'm beating someone's ass, and it wouldn't happen if I was there. It's like, fucking chill out, bro. You know, like, so that's kind of my takeaway from it.
Bust it open, brother.
I like Mark Henry, man. He just got a little bit too wound up there, I think. And
there's definitely more busted open to come on this review. So, you know,
there sure is.
There is. And Jan, $2, appreciate it. Who was HGH trying to convince in the scrum?
I don't know if you guys caught this, but he was just like, "My wife, oh my God, did you see her? I mean, man, I can't wait to get home. I mean, what I'm thinking right now, I mean, I can't even say."
Really?
Yes. Just like, he was just demonstratively like, "Oh my God, my wife's so hot, man. Did you guys see her? Fuck."
He's definitely got a burner, bro. I mean, I don't know what that dude's at is, but
Oh yeah, 100%. Then he posted the picture as well.
Joe, oh yeah, he posted himself like making out with Steph. Joe, you know what's funny about that? Logan Paul had him on Impulsive on Friday, and he basically asked him like, "Do you have a burner?" And he just laughed, and then just changed the topic. Oh. He was just like, "Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's funny."
Chicken tikka masala, $4.99.
Funny name.
Appreciate it. Imagine if someone told you at the start of Roman's reign that Cody would be the one to beat him, and Punk and Eli Drake would be celebrating with
for
him.
real, dude. Yeah, it's
crazy, bro. It's crazy, but it's been a very, very long time as well. So, Mustafa, £2. Appreciate you again. I expected Tamatonga to help Uso B beat Uso A.
Tama is definitely in play for tonight, which is a hilarious thing to ponder.
Tama's inevitable debut is going to be so funny.
Yeah.
Trust the process, 34.99. Appreciate Yeet versus No Yeet. This was bigger than Graps and your standards of wrestling. You soulless heathens wouldn't understand or relate. Hashtag Uso Cinema. Caden Lee of the Performance Center, $1.99. Appreciate you as always. Saw Evil at Mania. Sign him, Paul. He's really good. It's very spiteful. Darren Cagey, $4.99.
Real quick. Could you just imagine Rock being like, "Let the Rock tell you something. Jacob Fatu, the hidden Samoan, from the family, blah, blah, blah." And then he just points, he's like, "This guy right here, the son of the legendary Haku. Nobody fucked with Haku." And just putting over Tom. Oh, man. I think he's going to be with AJ, but that would be really funny.
Darren Cagey, $4.99. Appreciate you. When Sami hit the brainbuster, I yelled brainbuster and was stared at like I was crazy. The lack of ball knowledge from the crowd was sickening. Hey man, someone posted it thinking it was a botch. So
Yeah, that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
That was something. Pedro 199, appreciate your thoughts on the People's Championship belt. Me popped me when he brought it out. It
very
actually
funny.
did pop me, you know.
Yeah, very funny
stuff.
also that he came out of it like it was the
Oh,
thing
yeah.
he'd won.
Yeah.
Big Blaine.
He's hilarious. Trust the process 34,499, appreciate it. Didn't like Rock abusing his powers with the ref. Instantly made the entire stick pointless. He literally could turn any match into Bloodline rules. That was kind of the point they were. I thought most people seem to enjoy it. No, that wasn't like the kind of the thing that you see people criticize about the match, you know. Like, so, but everyone's got their own things to like and dislike. There's a lot to like and dislike when there's 45 minutes of it, you know. Berkey 199, Rock already like top 5 in the company. He's a beast, man. He's just different. Grant Hudson 499. Rock's facial expression with Roman when Roman speared him was hilarious. Reminded me of Raw 1000 with Punk.
That
Incredible
ruled.
stuff. Incredible
That
stuff.
did rule. Yeah.
He pulled a lot of great faces this
I
week.
thought the last like 7 minutes of this was terrific.
It was. It took 38 minutes to get there. You know what I mean? Blackie Kuzu 94, $5 appreciated. Triple H took Vince's company and his daughter and bragged about it. He's sick for that. Someone saying this. Honcho 499, last one for now. Appreciate you. What do you think Cody's ceiling is in reaching all-time WWE tier 10, 15 years from now? Do you think he could reach a Cena, Rock, Austin tier?
Yes.
It's tough because it depends. I don't know.
My instinct
Austin
is
and Rock.
no, but I would be foolish to count out Cody Rhodes at this point in the
His
game.
his age makes it
Hard, yeah.
Yeah, it makes it tough in the sense of like Cody's 38.
Yeah, and he's like wrestled a full schedule for a lot of that, right?
Yeah, so it's like,
but like, look at what
if Cody was 33 now, I would probably confidently say yes. You know,
the thing is though, context is like he's the front man of this particular era.
Exactly.
God forbid I use that terminology, but it's true, right? Like, and if this era goes from strength to strength, that changes things. Austin's run on top wasn't long. It was more the fact that he was the centerpiece of a significant era. I'm not comparing them one-to-one, folks. I'm just making the point. I don't want to count out Cody Rhodes, man. It was just over 2 years ago he was going 50-50 with Sammy Guevara. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's also Austin rocks, you know,
it's difficult. Yeah, my instinct is no. Right? Yeah.
Austin rocks, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's looking very promising for Cody Rhodes, man. So, with that being said, night 2, the crowning of said Cody Rhodes, and yeah, man, the opener, good time with this one, man. World Heavyweight Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, with none other than CM Punk on commentary, on the cans as he calls them. Yeah, man, they just kind of traded bombs. I think this went about 9-10 minutes or something like that. You know, It was just kind of traded some bombs, and in the end, you know, Drew McIntyre gets the job done over Seth Rollins, winning the world title in front of fans for the first time in his career. Yeah, man, great moment for him, and that's all it was. Was a moment, because before not too long, he was outside, caught the eyes of CM Punk, and thought, you know what, I'm going to rub it in this guy's face, and that's what he did. He crawled onto the announce table and just kind of posed in front of him, was talking trash to him. He spit at him. Like, spat at him, and CM Punk was like, I'm not taking this shit. Tripped him up on the table, beat the shit out of him, ripped his arm brace off, hit him with the arm brace, and then boom. Judgment Day music hits. Damian Priest sprints down. CM Punk's got like this smirk on his face. But oh yeah. You know? Crowd's going crazy for this. Damian Priest cashes in, takes Drew into the ring, hits him with the South of Heaven. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre held the belt for 5 minutes, and Damian Priest is the new World Heavyweight Champion. And Money in the Bank contract has been cashed in. CM Punk found this all very hilarious. And poor Drew, but he kind of deserved it, didn't he, Joe?
He did, and this was kind of something we talked about on Friday, right? The Late Night Grin crew. I was just kind of running the coattails, but this is what they mapped out. Like, he goads Punk into it, and by doing so, erases his own moment. And it's perfect. He's still a heel, man. Like, he doesn't need... I get that people are into the story, but he doesn't need a happy ending because he's a bad guy. The idea of him having the happy ending in his hand and being such a prick about it that he let go is perfect. And now, the Punk thing is even more heated now. Because now it ain't just, you injured me, it's, you injured me and then I cost you everything. That thing is going to be money. Now, here's the issue. Damien Priest is now the world champion. What that looks like, I don't know. When Monty asked me on Friday about that part of it, I said, I don't know. As for the match itself, fun, shootout, kind of mini sprint deal. Finishes galore. Probably too many finishes for me personally. By the last one, I was like, okay, please, someone's going to have to get a gun out. But I did enjoy it. And it was a good, for a stadium, it set the tone. It was exciting. The first move of the night was the Claymore. I mean, it was fun. I liked it. Didn't love it. That was my take on the opener.
Yeah, man, it was a exciting match. Even if there was like, let's not take the piss with the kickouts and shit now, But it was exciting nonetheless. 10 minutes, fun angle at the end, and we got 2 new champions in the space of 5 minutes. Ibu, what did you make of this one?
Yeah, the layout was interesting. It felt like the 2010s Brock Lesnar matches, like that Heyman would kind of structure for him, where it was like finisher spam and like you check back at the time and you're like, oh shit, that was only like 6 minutes, because it's very just explosive and like feels like a lot is happening in a small amount of time. Really exciting. Played great in the stadium. I was glad it wasn't boring because I think there was a version of this that was like long and boring. I would have liked like a middle ground between a long and boring title match and a finisher spam. I think like a middle ground would have been fun, but I heard some rumblings that the match was structured this way partially because of the situation with Seth's knee. So I guess it's something to monitor, and we'll see what happens with that. But really, really, really fun, really explosive, hot opener. This set the tone and kind of like you could kind of feel it, like just from all this stuff, that this night was going to be slightly different. At least,
yeah, 100%.
Sorry,
to cut you off, but like as soon as the first announcement of the weather, I was like, "Oh, it's just got some promise, folks,"
Exactly. I enjoyed this, and the Priest cash in like made all the sense in the world to me. And something else I wanted to say that I just can't remember. I have brain fog. This is what happens. This is like I'm on like day 28 of fasting.
Mania weekend hangover too, bro. It's tough, It's like...
Listen, no proper sleep for about 4 straight days, combined with the fact that this is literally like 28 straight days of fasting. I have no.
You'll be all right. Get back to the review, mate.
Good opening.
When he said sharpen review, that was crazy, bro.
Yeah, like damn.
It'll be fine. He got to work. Get back out there.
Whipping was like your break is over. I was like, damn. Thumbs up for me.
Yeah, man. Shout out all the people out there who have been gritting through this Ramadan period. I know it's not easy for them. So you know what? You do find like one in like 15. But if you obviously like Birmingham has like a lot of like Muslims, a lot, and about like 1 in 10 people you'll come across will be like, you know what? I don't think it's that bad. And you're like, wait, what? Well, obviously these are people who've done it all their lives and stuff, but Anyway, moving on with the review, like I said, take my own advice. Philadelphia Street Fight, 6-man. This was special guest referee Bubba Ray Dudley introduced at the start. Snoop Dogg on commentary on the cans, and bro, if we're gonna be completely honest, this is our review. This is our place. This is our home. I love this. No, it wasn't like good. You know,
Right.
like it wasn't great, but just like Snoop Dogg being hilarious on commentary, Bubba Ray just being like, it's just hilarious. It's fucking Bubba Ray. Bubba Ray getting a moment at Mania 40.
It was nasty, bro. I couldn't stop laughing at it.
What's Bully Ray, who's just been,
the
who all year is just kind of like, this is what I talk about when I talk about stories and this and that, and he's been accused of grifting, and he literally said, I don't know if you know this, guys, a week ago, he literally said, if you want to learn how to work and do it the right way, you go to WWE. The WWE way is the correct way to do wrestling. And I was like, this is insane. That is an insane thing to say on a pod. And clearly Nick Khan was like, this is a stand-up guy. I gotta say, this is a stand-up guy. Let me call this.
He was here.
Dude, his grin when he came out on the stage is one of the nastiest things that I've ever seen.
Bro, you see him at the Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah, but
when he got bro, even when he got shouted out by Heyman in the Hall of Fame speech, like the way he popped him was nasty,
Yeah, but that was funny. But it wasn't as funny as him doing it with a referee shirt on that was
bro. This is what I'm saying. I love this. It wasn't great. I'm not gonna be like this was a 4-star match, people, but it was just it was just kind of car crash mania, celebrity involvement bullshit, As for the actual match itself was, it's just kind of like whatever. I didn't really hate it or anything, to be honest. I mean, it started off with the kendo sticks and stuff, and there was like a bit of a comeback, and then I think obviously it was like when they fucked up the finish because Cross just randomly went through a table.
That was so funny, dude.
But it was funny,
Yeah.
Bubba Ray putting his glasses on and the crowd popping fucking huge for it.
I love to get the table spot. Yeah,
get the table spot still hits after 30 yards, It's just
I thought
it was funny. I had a fun time. Ibu, sorry, I know you've been kind of wanting to squeeze this out, but go ahead. What did you think of the Philly Street fight?
Yeah, I thought this was trending towards disaster actually before Bully Ray started to work his magic, and he's gonna have another year's worth of bragging rights on his pod.
Yeah,
he's gonna have a year's worth of bragging rights about like how to get heat, how to get a reaction, how to time it, how to take your time when you do certain things. Because he stopped, he looked around, he waited, he slowly put the glasses on. You know what I mean? He did the get the table stuff and it came together. Before that, this was trending towards disaster. B-Fab is not good. She's so not good that even in a valet role to just do some fighting, that
she
stuff.
took one of the funniest post bumps in the corner.
Yeah. Her stuff with Scarlett was like, and this is again, it's like interference. It's not even a match. It was really, really, really bad. Karrion Kross is really, really, really bad. He has like fundamental understanding of WWE wrestling. I really don't want to be mean to him. He's a nice guy. I really don't. Sometimes I'm mildly rooting for him to kind of connect, but it feels like he doesn't get like WWE wrestling. I was very disappointed with AOP in this. I actually like that team.
Dude, you gotta let the AOP thing go, bro. It's a wrap. I'm sorry. It's over.
No. I refuse.
It's over. You keep hitting me with this AOP. Brother, it's been like 8 years. It's over.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's a wrap, man.
It's coming. Trust me. There's something there.
The final testament. Fucking Paul Ellering.
Joe, someone pitched this and I almost blocked his account. He said, "Oh my God, this is a great idea here. What if Bo Dallas returned as Uncle Howdy and became the leader of the Final Testament?" And I was like, "Go fuck yourself. What the hell is wrong with you?"
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
This was very funny though, wasn't it?
Yeah. The Bubba stuff worked, and then the crowd got really into that. And the get the tables was cute. Snoop Dogg was amazing on commentary, and so this came together into a fun little thing.
The amount of stuff they did for that amount of reaction was fucking hilarious. Like, absolute, just like kendo shots galore. Everyone's falling down, and the crowd was just like watching, waiting for Bubba Ray Dudley to do something. Like, it says it all. The highlight of this, to me, as a comedic package, beyond Snoop Dogg, who was on fire, talking about suplexes and I mentioned this on the grin, but Bob Lash, he does, the thing I love, right? This deal he does. And they decided they were all going to do it together because it's the WrestleMania. And Bob Lash, he gets himself ready in his position, and he goes, "Here we go." The idea that, like, if wrestling was real, this dude, who's like one of the baddest dudes in wrestling, is like, we need to fucking synchronize my pose. The cue is here we go. Okay. When I say here we go, we need to stop pumping that fist, man. It's
done.
It was so funny. Like, he audibly said, "Here we go." Like,
or the part where, like, they have to hit each other. So it's like,
yeah,
it was like freaking Montez. It was like Bobby. It's like Hawkins, and it's like the crowd is eating this up, and I'm like, this is why Bubba Ray Dudley still makes money in wrestling.
Unfortunately, so.
Years, close to a territory.
It is what it is.
Yes, after about a year, they're like, all right, enough of you, get the fuck out of here, And then he slips back into podcasting, and then he's like, then WWE will give him a check, and then TNA will give him a check, and Ring of Honor before that, and like podcasting. Because people want to see him say, "Get the tables." What a grift!
And they got it, and Karrion Kross did indeed get put through a table, and the Pride, as they are called, they got the win here. So yeah, man, I enjoyed this. Like, again, it wasn't good, but I enjoyed the fuck out. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. What do you want from there? All right, next up, this was good in my opinion. LA Knight versus AJ Styles and Ibu. All week has been saying, this could very much potentially just turn out to be a match that's just very much the cliche of two solid pros, just kind of out there,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just two real wrestlers, bro. Knowing what they're doing out there, just very much. I very much enjoyed this. AJ Styles can still go, bro. Like, I understand if you just, if you drop in on a random SmackDown and he's going like 11 minutes with like Solo Sikoa or something, I can understand you thinking, "Oh man, AJ used to be the best in the world, man," and you kind of just kind of like, But bro, when he locks in, when he locks in, he's been on some good supplements recently as well. And I'm telling you, man, AJ Styles can still go win. The setting is right for it, and obviously on WrestleMania against a big single star like LA Knight, the time was right for it, and AJ Styles doled it in, and he had a really good performance here, man. LA Knight, I think he completely killed any sort of conversation around he can't work, bro, a few months ago. This is another example of it. LA Knight can absolutely wrestle at this level, singles Mania match. Like, he's good enough for it. So I really like this match. It wasn't anything like blow away, but it didn't need to be. It's in the middle of the show on Mania Night 2. Do you know what I mean? Like, it did. This was as good as I wanted it to be, Joe, what did you make of it?
I was really happy to see this come out the way it did, because you said it, like, I don't want to be dramatic. Like, it's a good wrestling match, but it's such an adult undercard match, and like what they did was done well, and they didn't burn a load of shit, or like they just wrestled their match, and it had aggression throughout, which was really important after the build. It was a good wrestling match. I actually think this was like a pretty incredible effort from AJ Styles. When you consider the whole thing, and the reason I say that is, we mentioned in the preview this week, he was talking about how he's fearful he's going to embarrass himself in the ring. He didn't sound particularly bullish on where he's currently at as a wrestler. He's 46 years old, and he's put on about 30 pounds of muscle in the last 6 months for reasons that I will not address here. And he was bumping here with everything he had. I'd imagine he don't feel great today. They did the suplex off the top rope, and he did the big flip bump on it. He was throwing himself to the floor. He did the 450. tremendous
Springboard
AJ
forward
Styles.
50 was nice,
Yeah,
man.
and he even did the deal where he went for the forearm and LA like cut him off on the top rope, and he bumped on the top rope and bounced in. Like whatever he has left, yeah, he showed it here, man. Even the way he took LA's finish, which often looks like shit, right? Like he looked good here. So I thought it was a tremendous AJ Styles performance in a good wrestling match. LA Knight is obviously never going to be a super worker, but I agree with you, Money. At this point, I think he's clearly shown he's fine.
He's good enough.
Totally fine.
You
Yeah,
know,
he's good enough.
good
I agree. But yeah, I was just happy to see AJ look good. And with that in mind, this was enough to tell me like he can totally have a pay-per-view match with Cody for the belt.
Yes.
Like totally.
Oh, yeah.
Easy. They'd tear it up, I think, actually. So I like this. Yeah.
I think that's like a 4-star match, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What did you make of it, Evil? Knight, Styles?
Very respectable. Very, very, very respectable. Two adult men having an adult match. No near falls, fascinatingly enough. I could see Knight being one of those guys like, we don't need to do all that shit. You know?
Yeah.
You know, we don't need to do all that bullshit, you know. But yeah, this was very respectable. I was happy for AJ because I thought this was gonna be the Night 2 version of Yeet versus No Yeet. And it very much was not. 2.5 was the over-under in stars. And no, they had a respectable, pretty good wrestling match, actually. Great, hell of a shift from AJ Styles, who looked in pretty good form here. His new theme is very funny. And LA Knight is a very, 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 very serviceable professional wrestler. So good stuff. Good stuff on the undercard. Nothing really to complain about, to be honest with you. I will say I'm conflicted that like you needed to give like Knight a big win on a big show, but I am starting to now look around at the heel side of the WWE and going, maybe we should just kind of heat up AJ and give him something, or at least throw him at somebody.
I think you still can, right? I think
you definitely still can. You definitely still can.
I mean, look, the reality is no one's going to believe AJ can beat Cody, but he's still AJ Styles, and I think you can pull it off. You know,
I'll tell you what. It'll be tough because fans just love him. But what do you think about Randy Orton just killing Cody Rhodes in an angle tonight?
I'd be really hesitant because I think you'd be asking a portion of the audience to cheer Randy over Cody because they like when he's mean. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, when he does all that savage shit, like they think,
yeah, like him turning heel almost makes him more over because it's like, oh, Randy's being an animal again. You know, he's been a sicko again. Like I don't know. I'd be very hesitant. I think Kevin Owens is one to kick around maybe, but
yeah.
I was thinking Kevin Owens when I was watching him yesterday. I was like, but the thing is that like, if you're gonna turn Kevin heel, you have to continue. You definitely have to continue to keep him as far away from Sami as you can. You know? And I think, especially with the way that Triple H kind of looks at those sort of things now, I think he would want to try and make sense of it somehow. You know,
you got to keep him on different shows, definitely.
Yeah, so I think Kevin Owens is definitely a potential person to turn heel in the next like 6 months or something. Randy Orton, I agree with Joe. To be honest, I think there's still so much juice in him being a babyface since his return. You know, he's still in the first 6 months of that, and he was gone for so long. And as Joe mentioned, you'd probably be asking people to boo whoever he's kicking the shit out of, because Randy and people love Randy, and it's what Randy does. You know,
right? He's a villain. He's a villain at core.
So you know, and I think that's something that you can do, like a really like extended build. Where it's like they're in each other's vicinity. Cody and Randy are in each other's vicinity. The tag teaming together and stuff like that for a long time before Randy like breaks everyone's heart, sort of thing, rather than just doing like this out of the blue, you know. Because yeah. Anyway, speaking of Randy, United States Championship triple threat match. Logan Paul successfully defends versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton in about 17 minutes. We got a cameo from Show Speed. Logan Paul entered on like a Prime truck with a big Prime bottle on the back of it. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Well, Kevin Owens went and got like an arena cart thing that you see people using backstage, and it had like a pole on it on the back. When Randy Orton made his entrance, Kevin Owens reversed all the way up to the top of the ramp, went and got Randy to stand on the back of it, and he put his foot through the floor. Kevin Owens, when he got Randy on the back, Randy nearly flew off the back of it, told Kevin Owens to slow down, literally. screamed it at him. But yeah, as for the match, I really enjoyed the match. You know, I thought the set pieces were added in like really like smartly, but I wouldn't expect anything less from like a Mania US title match with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton specifically in it. Kind of as I was hoping, you know, Logan Paul plugged in very nicely into this. We got like a highlight Randy Orton RKO. Kevin Owens as well is just fucking love Kevin Owens, bro. He's so good. You know, he's so in any setting, heel, babyface, triple threat, singles, tag, plunder, fucking anything. You know, he's so good, man. But yeah, Ibu, what did you make of the US title triple threat match, mate?
It was fun. It wasn't the pace wasn't as quick as maybe like normal WWE three-ways are. And I think that's partially like a Logan thing. But I thought this was largely the most enjoyable Logan Paul match since the Seth Rollins match a year ago. And there were good set pieces, and Randy Orton RKO'd a streamer that I find very annoying, which is fun. And Kevin Owens is a beast. So this was a good time. I said this was a good time.
It was, wasn't it, Joe?
It was. You had fun with it. It wasn't as I thought there was a chance this would really rock the house.
Mm-hmm.
The people liked it. It didn't work for me to. It never quite fully came together. It would like flirt with it, right? There'd be moments of like, oh, it's really catching fire. But it never quite got there. I will say, I think the Kevin and Randy thing is money. I actually think, to me, that should be like one of the main stories on SmackDown is that they should be a team.
They were awesome at the start, man.
Yeah, and if you want to do the Kevin heel turn, have him turn on Randy in 6 months. I love Randy Orton, but with where he's currently at, I think him being in a tag team, we saw it with Riddle 2 years ago. Like I think it'd be hugely beneficial. Yeah, I would SmackDown to me or Raw, whatever. I don't care. But one of the main stories I think should be the RKO team. I guess you'd call it. So they're money together. They're so funny together, dude.
It was, man.
You're an odd couple, right?
Yeah. The Rock is at television tonight.
Is it?
I'm definitely watching this show, dude. I shouldn't watch it, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah. I asked people like, man, this better be good, and they're like, well, it's gonna be way, way, way better than last year. And I was like, all right. Yeah, Rock is at TV. So
is it?
Yes, he's at TV.
Oh God. Okay. Next match, then we'll move it on. WWE Women's Title, 2024 Women's Royal Rumble winner Bayley, who was recently turned on by her best friend's Damage Control, facing who I guess we would call the leader of Damage Control now, Io Sky, for the WWE Women's Title, and yeah, Bayley got the job done as the right choice, of course. Bayley's just really connected again as a babyface. This babyface has been transformative for her again, you know, because like when she first turned heel and stuff and she was doing the Thunderdome stuff, people were really putting that stuff over. It got over a lot critically, you know. And obviously it was something very different compared to what we was used to, like Hugger Bayley, you know. And now this is like the other evolution of Bayley that we're starting to see over the past couple of months of her being this like veteran baby face that just has all this kind of goodwill that's built up over the years with the audience. Everyone loves Bayley, bro. Like the fans, the people in the back. Anytime you hear someone talk about Bayley at a press conference, it's always glowingly. She seems so selfless and stuff, you know. So it was really nice to see her get this moment of winning a world title in the co-main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania after winning the Royal Rumble and genuinely like deserving it based off the fanfare that she was getting this kind of late into her run, you know. And she had a tremendous match, man. I remember talking to Joe, I think it was when we was doing the preview show last week. It's like this was the match where it had like the biggest gap between ceiling and what the floor have been, because there was potentially a version of this match where it was kind of like, ugh, this isn't quite hitting the way I wanted to. This match was quite close to the ceiling for me.
Agree.
I thought this was tremendous. Bayley is so good at like just kind of
eliciting sympathy.
I don't want to say ring generalship and shit like that, but like just
you're right.
IQ. She's a thinking woman's wrestler, you know.
Yeah.
her selling of the knee as well was like, you could tell that she was really going with like it wasn't like played up, you know. It was, she's so good. Io looked so sharp as well. The closing stretch was phenomenal. One of the great WrestleMania women's title matches, you know, it's right up there with the best of them. So really happy for Bayley. Right choice with her going over. Great match. Not much more to add, to be honest. Loved it, Joe.
Yeah, me too, man. As far as like just a wrestling match, this was my second favorite on Mania to the Gunter Sammy match, which interestingly, same slot on the show, right? Same time, pretty much. Like very similar matches, I think, in terms of what they achieved. I'd say as pure wrestling matches because the main event of night 2 is like it's like his own thing, right? Almost, but as just a pro wrestling match, I thought this was tremendous, and Bayley was really just extraordinary here. I thought on the sell, her selling was, you mentioned.
No,
Everyone on my timeline thought she was injured. You know, it's like she's. And it was this was actually the third match of the night where someone's leg had been worked over some. And this was the first time someone had really sold it, you know? It's like, that's how you give yourself mileage. That's how when you slow down physically, you can still do it. Because you think Bayley is, she's very special in that way. And as you said, Io, she relished the chance to wrestle on this stage. She really, it felt like grew into the moment. And
she was killer, man. She was killer.
Yeah, I thought they tore it up. And again, it's like Sami and Gunther was 15. I think it was like 14 minutes. Dude, this felt really substantial. By the end of this, it felt like it was like an exhale. It was epic, you know. So I love it. Was great match.
Yeah, loved it. Bailey had a really cool entrance as well, and even, you know, like Io, it wasn't like a special entrance or anything, but like it was just cool, like seeing her come out in the stadium as the defending champion and stuff. So I love the entrances as well. But yeah, either Bailey, Io, good stuff.
Yeah, really good stuff. Io Sky is a superstar. She's one of those big match players, one of those big stage players. She didn't look. The moment didn't look too big for her. She looked very at home in this setting, and this came together exactly how I expected. In the sense that I kept saying in all these previews, Bayley's gonna have the crowd on her side. She's gonna be resourceful. She's gonna work a smart match, and Io is gonna just mechanically be stellar. And it'll come together if the crowd is into it. And that's exactly what happened. Bayley had the crowd at her side from jump with the singing and the chanting and everything. And Io was just terrific here. So I thought this reached great right at the very end there, and then pretty much ended right when it hit that. But I love this. I thought it was a great moment for Bayley. I thought Io really got to just kind of show who she is, and what she is a still excellent wrestler. And a star. It's kind of remarkable, that she's made at this point. You know, like there was a chance like she wouldn't have been this successful in WWE. And the early days of Damage Control, you know, one could have maybe suspected that maybe she was just going to be a sidekick on the main roster. Like that was just going to be her fate long term. But it was not the case. Not the case. She quickly became the front person of the stable. And 2023 was all about building her with the Puerto Rico match and the Money in the Bank, and eventually her winning. But it all came together here, and I thought this was awesome.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thrilled for Bayley. Really was just thrilled for her.
I'd like to love for that one. All right, then. We're here, folks. The end of night 2, the main event. The main event of a lot of people's fandom. You know, this was... I was talking to Joe about this last night. This is genuinely like one of the most important, biggest matches of all time. Like, I'm not being hyperbolic or anything. Like, that's how big of a match this really is. When you think about how hot WWE is as a promotion, the amount of tickets they're selling as a promotion, their worldwide reach as a promotion, now it's completely different to the Attitude Era days when they were doing the same similar ticket sales, you know. The running stadiums a lot more. It's more global now. It's just a bigger company because of just the way the world is now. It's very different, a lot more accessible. And when you have this, when you have a baby face that can make you trend #1 in the United States, you know, you've got something special. When you've got a 1,316-day reigning champion that is the face of the past few years of wrestling, he is the guy of the industry. You have something very special. Again, reiterate, this is one of the biggest matches of all time, you know. And It felt like it. The video package we talked about at the top end of the show, it was like an 8-10 minute fucking video package just detailing Cody's story, because it is a story that deserves that attention to detail with it. We talked earlier already about the it was a lot of people popped for the mention and showing of the Elite, the Bucks, Kenny, Jericho was in there. But yeah, it's been a crazy journey, man. And you kind of like, you live through it again in that 8 to 10 minute video package, but it's been a crazy few years, man. Whenever you jumped onto the journey, whether it was when he first left WWE, whether he was a huge Stardust guy, whether it was when he was with Ring of Honor, when he first posted the list, or when he linked up with the Young Bucks, or AEW, or when he first came back to WWE. No matter what point you jumped on, it's been a crazy journey since that point. It's very surreal to see him get to this point, and like I said, one of the biggest matches of all time, Roman Reigns. What a reign he's had, and it came with all the drama and chaos a lot of people hoped for. We didn't get Steve, but we got a lot. It was pretty much a classic title match. I was saying this before the show to you two guys as well, like I was expecting it to be kind of like chaotic and more bombs at the start and just kind of delve into just lunacy, But honestly, the first like 20 minutes or whatever it was of this match was just like a classic world title match, and Ibu's mentioned a lot of times over the past like 48 hours or so. Roman and Cody's chemistry is so clear to see. They're just always in the right position for each other. Great timing with each other. They're just they just fit together like a. I don't know. It's very reminiscent of like the classic heel babyface dynamics,
Mhm.
It's tremendous stuff, genuinely. Then the chaos unfolds, Cody has Roman basically beat. He's about to set him up for another crossroads. Think like a second or third one. Jimmy Uso comes in, boom, super kick. Then Roman hits a spear. I think Roman hits a spear. Cody kicks out. Then Solo Sikoa comes down, hits Cody with the spike. Cody kicks out. Then they do the spike spear combo thing. Cody kicks out again. Solo goes ballistic. He's fucking kicking the ropes. He's fucking screaming at Roman and everything. And then fucking John Cena comes out, bro, running down, looking every bit of his 50-year-old self. Fucking his knees were screaming down that ramp, bro. But God bless. Runs in for the code, man. Throws Solo Sikoa over the ropes. Hits an AA on John Cena in the middle of the ring. Solo Sikoa on the outside. Boom! AA through the announce table. The crowd is going nuts. Then, if you smell, fucking Dwayne comes out, drops about 7 F-bombs as he's walking down the ramp.
His full body Elvis ass outfit was hysterical.
It was crazy, bro.
That was an insane fit.
The shit talking on the way to the ramp. At one point, he was like, "The final boss makes the fucking law." Like,
he squashed Cena too, bro. He just put him out.
Yeah.
Done with it.
And hilariously, like it didn't feel like preposterous. Like it felt like that's the proper scaling of where these guys are right now. It felt like current, just withered Cena and final boss Rock. Like yes, Rock would one shot him.
Yeah, and that's what happened. Cena got a little pose in, went to throw a punch, and Dwayne was like, "Nope, rock bottom, boom." And so Cena's out the equation. Rock backs off his belt. He's got the Mama Rose belt again. He's telling Cody Rhodes, "Get up, boy! Get up, boy!" And so like that goes on for a few seconds, and you can tell the stalling. We're waiting for something, and then boom, Shield music hits. A lot of people are having heart attacks, thinking John Moxley's about to emerge through the crowd. God bless them. But it is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins sneaks into the ring with a steel chair, about to hit the Rock, but Roman gets in the ring just in time, nails him with a Superman punch. Seth Rollins, you have been owned, And then where did we get the Rock? Yeah, the Rock is still just kind of, bragging, telling Cody. Then he says it again, Joe. It's like, "Get up, boy." Got the belt. Oh, he starts shit talking to Mama Rhodes, bro. Drops about
That was
4 F bombs. It's like, you piece
Yeah.
of shit, son. Da, 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 da. Cody Rhodes going off at Mama Rhodes. He's got the belt in hand. You know, it's all over for Cody. The next thing you know, boom. The
And
fucking line.
we have to know they hit the gong deal, and then there was a couple seconds before the lights went out.
So you
And
can see the Rock's face.
Yeah, and how the reaction to the drop was crazy, bro. It was like it was an eruption. It was wild.
Yeah. Lights go out. Rock does full 1999 face, as the Oracle of Wrestling calls it. And the gong goes off again. The Undertaker in a fucking beanie. In a hoodie and a beanie.
You look like me.
The Rock, obviously, is shocked and he starts talking shit a bit. Goes to hit him with the belt, but the Undertaker wraps his hand around his throat. The Rock does the classic 2001 style where he's like, he fully does shocked face when he's got his hand around his neck.
Of course.
The Rock's just selling this. Boom, choke slam. Undertaker disappears, and then it's just Roman and Cody in the ring with a steel chair. And Roman actually gets up first. Roman gets up first when the sides are even, balanced. And he sees Seth Rollins, who's just been laid out by his Superman punch, struggling, climbing up the ropes just like he was many years ago when Seth Rollins broke up the Shield. And Roman sees himself at a crossroads. Do I hit Cody Rhodes with this chair right now and just finish my job? Or do I go back in time? You know, do I pick at this scab? do I clearly need therapy? You know? And he does, because he hits Seth Rollins with the chair. He's still not over it. He still gets to him, which is something that's always kind of been part of the Tribal Chief character. That, like, that what happened between him and Seth has been one of, like, the things that triggers him. Like, genuinely, like, so, like, that was, like, a cool piece of the finish here. And obviously, that kind of gives Cody enough time to recover. Roman gets in the corner. He's setting up a spear. Cody's onto it, kicks Roman in the face, sets him up for the triple crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes finishes the story in emphatic fashion. The stadium sounds like it's in fucking a 10,000 seat arena. Like how, because it was so loud. Like, it didn't sound like an open air stadium.
Right.
You know, it was insane. You know, Samantha Irving can barely get her words out because she's so overcome with emotion. Michael Cole's emotional on commentary. It's just special, you know. So now I've kind of laid the table of what happened. Ibu, I'm going to throw you the ball first, so unmute yourself. Cody Rhodes finishes the story in one of the great WrestleMania main events, and as you said earlier, probably the greatest Mania ending of show ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was glorious. I said it earlier. Their chemistry is unbelievable. I was transfixed watching this. I could not sit down at any point. The entrances were unbelievable. This felt like the most important match of all time. And I'm watching them, and again, I'm just enjoying this chemistry, right? And there's this almost understanding as I'm watching it that we're not gonna start going home here until like certain people start to run out. And so because of that, I'm not like buying on any like near falls or anything, because it's like, well, no, Rock has to come out and Jimmy has to come out and Cena and so on and so forth. And so because of that, I wasn't nervous during the first 2 quarters of this, because I was more just enjoying their wrestling, because I'm like, well, it's not going to end yet. And I thought before the shenanigans, they were having a hell of a wrestling match again, just like they did last year. These guys have remarkable chemistry. And Roman Reigns, I'll tell you what, man, he's very mercurial. He's up and down. When he's on, he is special, because he already has the presentation, like what it being. But when he backs it up wrestling wise, and the trash talk hits, and he has a great baby face to go off of, he's terrific. The same way he was terrific facing against Bryan Danielson and stuff. And here it's with Cody Rhodes. This was big time. This was box office. This was real shit. I thought the run-ins were as expected and really fun. The Undertaker one was almost meme level, and it made me laugh. He was dressed, for those that watched Drake and Josh, he was dressed like the theater thug. But yeah, he got the big choke slam. Cody got the win. I looked away when the ref counted 3 because it just didn't feel real. I don't know. It was just crazy. Yeah, when Cody walked out, he had an interesting look on his face. He just looked like he was floating. Like it looked like it was weird. It was like ethereal. I just, angelic. It felt like when Goku would train and come back, and he had this godlike aura, but it was a very peaceful sense of calm to him, and that's what Cody had emanating from him. But this was a triumph in every which way. Yeah, it was a different match from the first year's match. The first year's match was amazing until the finish. This was more of just a different type of match, but both widely successful and great matches. And this was an amazing close to the show.
Holbert,
Yeah,
what did you think of the spectacle?
I loved it. I definitely think Ibu was right to kind of circle. While the wrestling match itself was a great watch because of their chemistry, it was definitely affected by the audience knew, right? Like, we don't need to start biting on these false finishes until some shit starts going. That was definitely a factor. But they wrestled at such a high level. They actually got past that. When they started stealing finishes, the people were already rocking for it, even before you get to the run-ins. We've kind of gone over a lot of this. The one thing I would say is I have maintained all along, and we've talked about it a lot on this show, and we've had some fun, silly debates, but I've always thought that Roman Reigns was a great professional wrestler. And while I understand there are frustrations with his reign that are very, very fair, and those of you that watch the TV more closely, I completely get the fact that he shows up once in a blue moon is not ideal. But that dude is great. I've always felt that way, and I think this match, in a lot of ways, I think will be the kind of shining example of that, because I thought he was terrific here. And that's not to understate Cody, who was tremendous, of course, and he's the heart of the match. He's the why the people are rocking the way they are. But when Roman when he wants to, the way he can command an audience, and he's timing, and he's selling. There was a moment in this match after Cody got the figure 4 early, and Roman had to cut him off and go back on offense. And he didn't just do that. He walked to the corner of the ring, shook his leg out, was staggering a little bit. He's so good at that kind of nuanced sell. I thought he was great here. And that was the kind of takeaway to me, beyond the obvious, which is what a hoot, kind of WWE Avengers style deal, right? It was epic, man. It was epic. And by the end of it, you couldn't help but be moved by the whole thing. It was very special. Very special.
It was. Roman's a legacy defining reign. Roman Reigns, this was his 9th WrestleMania main event, the 8th show, overall show is main evented, So obviously it's not like he's new. It's not like the Tribal Chief was when Roman Reigns first became a top star. Of course, he's been very well documented. Nobody needs me to tell them that Roman Reigns was very much kind of forced down fans' throats for a very long time. So he's been a top guy for a very long time, 8 WrestleMania main events. A top guy for how many years we're talking now? A long time.
Right?
Yeah, if you count the Shield as a group as well, because the Shield were a top act on WWE television,
sure. Yeah.
So if you count that as well, you got an easy decade there, But this reign is what is going to define his legacy. This has been a legacy-defining reign in every which way. This will be the reign that people talk to when WWE got super hot again. This will be the reign that people talk about whenever talking about Roman Reigns' career, because it's impossible not to, And this will be the reign when people in the future talk about Cody Rhodes, because it's not just that Cody Rhodes took the belt off him. It's what that signifies, that Cody Rhodes was the guy to dethrone this iconic era-defining reign, It's special, man. Roman Reigns deserves all his flowers. There's not enough flowers you can give him, Yeah, there's criticisms. Of course, there's valid criticisms. He's hardly been around the past year,
For sure, yeah.
But when he's there, when he's locked in, when he's doing his storylines, especially a lot of the Bloodline arcs, there's been the side quests like the LA Knight stuff and stuff. Some of that's been good as well. But when he's fully locked in on the Bloodline stuff, he's been putting out all-time wrestling television and some great stadium matches to go with it. So, again, shout out Roman Reigns.
And it's also the schedule's a double-edged sword. Yeah, he's fresher, but he has to get himself back in rhythm every time he's out there wrestling. Like I'd imagine that's a weird thing, right? Was this his first match since the Rumble this weekend? I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
well, obviously the tag match. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying like the weekend was his first. He went from wrestling. When was the last time he wrestled 2 nights in a row? I'd love to know. so
included in house shows, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like always an interesting quirk to his matches. But yeah, I'm a huge fan for sure.
Yeah, man. Very, very special historical night for wrestling, and obviously the WWE specifically. But yeah, WrestleMania 40 review in the books. Here we are, 2 hours 35 minutes in. Hey man, 2 long shows, brother.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's 2 nights.
We got to talk about them. We have comments to read. We didn't get started until like an hour in anyway. So
yeah.
All right, let's talk about the rest of the weekend whilst we've got just under 10 minutes left, we just do highlights, we didn't promise any reviews anyway. It's just
Mark Briscoe is there. We got to do some Mark Briscoe, right, just before we go, I think. Only makes sense.
Mark Briscoe. Yeah, we'll talk about him for a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, winning the ROH World title off Eddie Kingston in the main event of Supercard of Honor on Friday. And bout, of course, that his brother once held. I believe it was 11 years to the day.
Yep,
since Jerry Briscoe first won the ROH World title from Kevin Steen, of all people.
Yes, sir.
A very special night and moment for Mark Briscoe and the Pugh family to see him win that belt, because of course Ring of Honor as a promotion and that belt specifically as well means a lot to that family and to Mark. And it was quite the moment, and they had a match to fit the moment as well. Eddie Kingston was so good with the way he leaned into the psycho fucking heel, but just went a bit unhinged,
Mm-hmm.
Mark Briscoe is just, my God, he's so, who would have? I don't want to say who would have thought, but I love the Briscoes. You two especially know how much I love the fucking Briscoes, bro. They're my greatest tag team of all time. I wasn't expecting Mark Briscoe to be this good as an extended singles wrestler.
Right.
But he's tremendous, isn't he?
He is. This was a case of 2 perfect performances navigating a slightly imperfect situation, right? In that it was a build that came together very late notice for reasons that were, kind of revealed in the presser. And the people love Eddie Kingston. So it's it isn't the natural situation of Mark's going to win the belt against a piece of shit, right? It's it was a kind of weird, awkward thing. But they were so great that was not even a problem. Because as you said, Eddie kind of leaned in the direction he needed to make Mark the babyface. The dueling chants kept leaning further and further into Mark's direction for that reason. Mark got color in a way that would very much have Pop J, I'm sure, who was famous for bleeding buckets in Ring of Honor title matches. So yeah, this was a great time. Again, I do wish it was some slightly different circumstances, but for what it was, by the time the referee counted 3, it felt exactly the way you'd hope, right? It felt worthy of that moment. So I was thrilled. It was pretty emotional also seeing the post match and stuff. So great stuff for sure.
Yeah, Ibu unfortunately hasn't been able to. He's had a lot to catch up on. But
yeah, that's the only reason I brought it up, just to out Ibu as a fake fan.
fake Briscoe fan.
I'm really sad I didn't get to see this because Mark
Briscoe
is amazing.
Did you get to see Danielson and Panther in Arena?
There you go.
Yes, I did.
That was also very heartwarming.
Yeah.
I love that match as well, man. That was awesome.
Did you? Yeah. It was charming how much Danielson wanted to have an authentic 80s lucha match. A lot of rolling around, a lot of trading of submissions and grappling on the mat. Panther did a plancha to the outside late in the match. And it's good for Danielson, man. All these checklists, just things that he's doing, and God, he got to work Zack Sabre Jr. He got to go in Japan. He went to Arena Mexico twice now, and he wrestled his idol in Blue Panther. He's doing some great business over there, and CMLL is looking like they're going to double up now on 2 straight tremendous years as a promotion. And man, these cameos they're getting from all these other places, it's really cool. I love the awareness that's being spread, and I thought the main event was really, really, really cool.
It was a very cool moment indeed. NXT Stand and Deliver, pretty decent show to be honest. Roxanne and Lyra was decent, but didn't quite deliver as much as I wanted it to. The North American title triple threat match got over huge. Great to see over family being matches that are getting over like this. The main event under-delivered for me, Trick versus Mello, but it kind of is what it was. I think they could have just done a plunder match and it would have been like a lot better off for it, But
Right.
what else from that show?
Braun Breaker is tremendous, remains tremendous. That tag opener was really fun.
Animal.
Yeah, Braun's in it.
What else? Just quickly then. Quick take. Well, not even quick takes. We've got a minute each for each of us. Right, so AEW over the weekend, they announced on Collision that they will be airing. The Young Bucks will be reviewing, or whatever the fuck they do with it, commenting on the AEW All-In backstage footage from the altercation between CM Punk and Jack Perry. Of course, this has been a very big talking point because what the fuck? Joe, Joe, I'll go to you first, mate.
Great.
You're immediate.
That's
You ain't got
fine.
long. We ain't got long to
Right.
do a full blown discourse conversation anyway. So just your kind of initial reaction and just kind of what you was thinking.
Confusion, concern as to how this will end up for a range of reasons. Folks, it's one of those things, it's hard to comment on without knowing what the footage is, right? Like, it may be saying this. My gut feeling is that this is going to be very underwhelming for people. And I was mentioning to the guys before the show, the reason I'm expecting it to be that way is because professional wrestlers who are the greatest liars on earth have never really described this scuffle to be very interesting. So I'd imagine it looks even less so. But
in black and white grainy footage.
Yeah, with no sound, and like I just, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there'll be something very funny in there or like revealing. I have no clue. It's a weird thing. I assume they want to pop a rating. I don't have a problem with it either. Like I don't, it's just like whatever to me. We'll see what it looks like.
Yeah, but what was you thinking when someone messaged you at work or whatever you was doing? You weren't at work on Saturday, actually. Yeah.
No,
your reaction.
I saw the graphic and I thought, LOL, that's going to be a fun little Buck segment where they do a little bit here and then they build the FTR thing. Then I got told by many people high up in AEW that no, we're going to actually show the footage. And my thought on that is, I hope they use it to get someone over and draw money. And if they do and it succeeds, then that's pro wrestling. And sometimes you just do shit that's outside the box sometimes. But if it doesn't do any of those things and it falls flat, then it's gonna be a bit embarrassing on the company's part. So it's an all or nothing gamble on the end, and hopefully it works out for them.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how they can use it productively. It's like, the ratings ploy, bro, but like, okay,
you need to actually hook them.
You need to like, is this going to be spun into getting good heat for the Bucks and maybe Jack Perry, etc., etc. Like, what is the point of this? It needs to have a point other than CM Punk was lying. Like, it's
that's the thing. You like. I'm sure. I'm sure they want that. They want to show that, but you can do that while also accomplishing something, and so hopefully this achieves something.
So we'll see. But very skeptical about that one. But I'm not going to write it off until I see what they do. I actually think they're just going to show like little clips of it. I don't think they're just going to be like, here it is, 3 minutes of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have no clue how they present it. I have no idea. I've never thought about that part of it.
But Rory's starting. We've got a couple of super chats which we're going to blitz through. Chicken Tikka Mizzou 199 is freaking the worst nickname of all time. Guess it's in the conversation. Will Chisholm $5 appreciated. When Io did the flip out of the rose plant, I thought she was overselling moves. I had to look at it again. Yeah, it looked awesome, man. Darren Walker £5 appreciated. We need Bully Ray on worldwide. No. Ibu, what do you think of Jay White and Billy Gunn's shambles on Dynamite last week?
Really sad.
Beautiful. Huncho 199, appreciate it. Loser me Carter, you want to see have a Cody glow up?
Cole Anderson.
I'll take that one. Well, cheers and $5, appreciate it. I love how when Cody come out, they put the camera on Brandy and the fans pop for her. They did. That was really
That was
cool.
cool. Yeah.
That was really cool. Starting my 499. If I had the pen, I'd have Roman beat Cody clean tonight and give us another 1,000 days. Unfortunate. Hush, $2, appreciate it. Y'all think they will say Punk's name on there? Oh, on Dynamite.
Yes.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
No. All right.
Monday Night Raw is going to be unhinged.
All right.
I'm gonna go.
Appreciate
watch
you
this shit.
guys for all tuning in. Raw After Mania is about to start. WrestleMania 40 review in the books. Long show. Please like and subscribe on your way out. I know you're all rushing out now, but help us out. Help us out, people. But yeah, thanks again. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for watching. Peace.